ನೀ ಚಂದ್ರನ ಮುಟ್ಟೋ ಕನ್ಸು ನನ್ಸಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ದೇಶದ ಹಲವೆಡೆ ಇನ್ನೂ 3 ಕೋಟಿ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಕನಸು ಕನಸಾಗಿಯೇ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಈ ಕನಸನ್ನ ನನಸಾಗಿಸೋಣ.
ಜನಹಿತಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಜಾರಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ.
ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಟ್ಟ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ 24x7. ಇದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ.
Welcome all to the Budget Town Hall, a direct interaction with experts on Union budget and its impact on the Indian economy, organized jointly by TAPI Management Institutions and Nammakudla Karnataka Bank Business Tonic. I, CA Yashashwini K. Amin, am your host for today's evening. February 1 has been the budget month of our country. Everyone, in fact every citizen of India, cautiously awaits for what the Honorable FM has to announce in the various schemes and tax incentives. The budget makes us all eyes and ears. Every pause, every silence of the FM has a sensational move. And today we are here to understand what the budget has actually got for the country, how will it affect the economy, and how can India grow and become an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Here we are at TAPMI, the leading management institution, in association with Nammakudla, a prime regional TV channel, organizing the special episode of the popular program Karnataka Bank Business Tonic Budget Town Hall. So let's hear it for today's program, my dear audience, Karnataka Bank Business Tonic Budget Town Hall. I request the CEO of Nammakudla, Kadri Navneet Shetty sir, to kindly escort our dignitaries to the dais. We have today Dr. Madhuvir Raghavan, Pro Vice Chancellor, Mahe and Director TAPMI, Shri M.S. Mahabaleshwara, MD and CEO Karnataka Bank, CADB Mehta, Vice President Kudai Karnataka, CAK Gururaj Acharya, Independent Director Karnataka Bank, CASS Nayak, past Chairman ICAI Mangaluru, Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, Investment Consultant and Financial Planner, Dubai, Dr. Y. Srihari Upadhyaya, CEO Mutbi Manipal, Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav, Dean, TAPMI Bangalore. A warm welcome to all the dignitaries here and an elite audience to the Budget Town Hall, which is going to be a direct interaction, a panel discussion with the experts on how the union budget has impacted the Indian economy. Let's hear it for our wonderful dignitaries today, who are economic experts, banking and tax experts, MSME experts in various fields, and we will be learning more about the budget, analyzing the budget from their point of view today. Once again, a warm welcome to all gathered here. Let's now seek the blessings of the Almighty for the success of this program. I request everyone to raise for the Mahe theme prayer song.
शान्ताबुधन्वतीरापः शान्तान सन्तोषदीः शान्तानि पूर्वरूपाणि शान्तं न अस्तु कृताकृतं शान्तं भूतं च भव्यं च सर्वमेव शमस्तु नः सर्वमेव शमस्तु नः संशिता ययैव ससृजे घोरम् परमेष्टिनम् मनोवां ब्रह्म संशितम् येनैव ससृजे घोरम् तेनैव शान्तिरस्तु नः तेनैव शान्तिरस्तु नः इमानि यानि पञ्चेन्द्रियाणि मनः षष्ठानि मे हृदि ब्रह्मणा संशितानि यैरेव ससृजे घोरम् तैरेव शान्तिरस्तु नः तैरेव शान्तिरस्तु नः पृथिवी शान्तिः अन्तरिक्षं शान्तिः द्यौ शान्तिः आपः शान्तिः ओषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिः विश्वे मे देवा शान्तिः सर्वे मे देवा शान्तिः 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 शान्तिभिः ताभिः शान्तिभिः सर्वः शान्तिभिः क्षमया मोहं यदिह घोरं यदिह क्रूरं यदिह पापं तच्छान्तं तच्छिवं सर्वमेव क्षमस्तु नः सर्वमेव क्षमस्तु नः
Knowledge is that wealth which cannot be stolen. It just grows by sharing and sharing. This institution has molded, graduated lakhs and lakhs of students and made them into responsible citizens of the country. Once again, let us all pray that the Almighty blesses us for the success of this program. And moving ahead, we have today with us Dr. Madhuvira Raghavan, the Pro Vice Chancellor of MAHE and Director of TAPME. To briefly introduce Sir to the audience, he is a doctorate in finance with over 2 decades of experience, and he personally supervises the programs at TAPME Bengaluru. He has published over 50 papers in international journals, presented his work in top conferences globally. He has been ranked 97th in the world in the Brigham University 2021 accounting ranking for his contributions in accounting research. He is also awarded with the prestigious AICTE Dr. Preetham Singh Best Teacher Award 2021 by the Honorable Minister of Education, Government of India. The Social Science Research Network has announced that Dr. Veeraraghavan is in the top 10% of the authors around the world. Sir, it is indeed a pleasure to have you with us today. I request you to address and welcome the gathering. Light has been a symbol of knowledge and enlightenment. So let us first light the lamp and formally inaugurate our program by lighting the lamp of knowledge, by removing the darkness, bringing in brightness in all our lives. I request our chief guest, Sri M.S. Mahabaleshwara sir, and the other dignitaries to ignite the light of enlightenment and knowledge. Deepat Jyoti Parabrahma, Deepat Jyoti Janardana. Deepo Bharati Papani, Sandhya Deepa Namostate. A light symbolizing the Almighty. Education is also the light that makes us bright. So this is a movement from moving towards the light, away from the darkness. I request Dr. Madhuri Raghavan sir to now welcome the gathering and address the elite audience.
Yashaswini, thank you. A very good evening to everybody. I hope you're able to hear me. It is my great pleasure to welcome the esteemed guests to the Budget Town Hall at TAPME. In particular, I wish to welcome the MD&C of Karnataka Bank, Shri Mahabaleshwar, CA SS Nayak, and all the distinguished panelists. Mr. Mahabaleshwar, I thank you for the opportunity you have given me to inaugurate the town hall on the year-end budget. I'm sure when it is your turn, you'll also thank me for inaugurating the session. But if I've inaugurated the town hall, what is it I've actually done? I'm not sure if I can guess. It is quite simply that I'm in, that is, I'm just present here. But I do invest this session with all the auguries at my command. That means I wish the event very well. I wish the event achieves its objectives. I wish we're all enriched at the end of the session. And I'm all giving you all the signals there is a potential good news in what I'm about to do. Quite simply, I infuse the event with what these economists, stock market experts, professors like myself, a couple of them are on the panel, bankers, and the omnipresent chartered accountants, we call sentiment. I lend positivity, I lend cheer. And of course, inaugurate the final three alphabets are 88. So what did I? I let you know the end of the session if I was given good enough food for thought by all the experts today. But as the official host, I must also make sure that you also have some great food for thought. Since inaugurations typically happen at the start, I can only serve you with some starters. I will leave the main course for the great speakers, the esteemed panelists who are on the panel today to serve. And there are some students from the MIM IPM program. So for you, do you know that the nation's annual financial statement is a presidential responsibility according to Article 112 of the Constitution? The reason perhaps that we have so many chartered accountants also here. Did you also know that since 1972, Indian budgets have been expressions of the political economy of the party in power? The oil shock, of course, forced governments across the world to convince themselves there could not be any politics without economics, and economics without politics. Many of you may not remember this, the students at the back may not remember this, but others would. There are some great slogans such as Garibi Hatao, Roti Kapra Makan, 20-point program, CMP, and more recently we use Sabka Saath. This was also the time when the firewood became more important than the food it was meant to cook. And consequently, I like to say here that the medium became more important than the message. Please don't forget, the budget is a medium of sending out a political economic message. That reminds me, so I'm a self-confessed BJP fan. Do you realize that every 2 years since 2014, our PM has added a segment of the basic message of his party, Sabka Saath, with Sabka Vikas, then Sabka Vishwas happened, and then Sabka Prayas also happened. Common presence, common progress, common faith, common effort. The fifth edition is due any time, going to general elections very soon. What would be your prediction? Mine would be common sense, Sabka Bas. I'm saying this to emphasize that the Prime Minister is the first world leader who's actually trying to make the message more important than the medium. Therefore, do you have dream budgets anymore? This correction was long overdue. Do you realize that budgets today are a fine example of statements of development economics rather than a plain vanilla financial statement that are supposed to nudge certain microeconomic aggregates to do better than others to set macroeconomic goals? But here comes the problem. If budgets are reports, they're also plans. Are we training our accountants, and in TAPME today at least we have 5 MBA programs, are we training our accountants enough in development economics and projections for them to become more than financial reporters? Have they found out why girls do not drop out of schools that have safe and clean toilets for them, or why monetizing milk rather than consuming it made the milkmen of Gujarat create a lifestyle for themselves? All I'm saying is that these insights can be generated by training our accountants in the reasons and choices of development economics. It is also a duty at B schools, such as TAPME to activate and renew the curricula to keep up with the times. I'm keenly aware that soups cannot be part of the main course. So I think my soup service should stop right now, right here. But you better have a great main course. Before I request Yashaswini to take over, I think she's on that side, yes. I wish to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Lilaksha Karkera and Namakudla for their association. Thank you very much, and I hope all of you enjoy the wonderful session. I certainly can't wait to hear the panelists debate, discuss, and provide the excellent insights and knowledge to all of us. Thank you very much, and a very, very warm welcome to all the esteemed panelists again, to TAPME Manipal, and of course this wonderful, lovely TAPME Greens. So thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Bye.
Thank you very much, sir, for those opening remarks. As you rightly said, message is more important than the medium that it is given through. And you've given a wonderful trailer to what the entire budget town hall will be. And we are all awaiting for the budget town hall discussion, which will be going to be the entire movie for you all, thrilling and enthusiastic. Moving on, it is our privilege and pleasure to have with us the MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank, Shri M.S. Mahabaleshwara sir, today with us. Karnataka Bank, the family bank across India, is a leading private sector bank celebrating its 100th year of existence. It's now expecting to cross the net profit target of 1,000 crore rupees under the able leadership and guidance of M.S. Mahabaleshwarji. To introduce him, he is a Master's in Agricultural Sciences and a Certified Associate of Indian Institute of Bankers, and has held various positions as Agricultural Officer, Chief Manager, AGM, Regional Head in Delhi, Mumbai regions, General Manager, and moving on to become the MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank for 2 consecutive terms. He's played a very key role in launching the Krishi Card scheme of the bank and also in implementing the most sought after KBL Vikas under his leadership by having the BCG as transformation partner. He is also honored with a number of awards, namely Shri Krishna Anugraha Prashasti by His Holiness Shri Shri Vishwesha Tirtha Swamiji, Pejavar Mutt, Udupi, Aryabhatta International Award of 2017 by Aryabhatta Cultural Organization, Bengaluru, in recognition of his praiseworthy contribution to the field of banking. He's also been a constant support to this Business Tonic program, and that's why we have rightly named it as Karnataka Bank Business Tonic Budget Town Hall today. Sir, over to you to address our elite gathering.
Good evening to each one of you. Let me first acknowledge and thank my good friend CASS Nayak, who has ensured that I attend this program today. Naturally, for a banker, each and every day is a hectic day, no doubt about it. Nevertheless, I had to stretch a little bit further to make myself available today here. In fact, at our bank, we are conducting one international program to develop the future leaders for my organization. So that international coach was there, so my presence was also felt there. So I had to attend that and immediately rush here, because I never wanted to miss this TAPME program, because this is one such a beautiful campus wherein everyone would dream to visit and interact with the learned faculties as well as the students here. Thank you, sir, for having given that such a wonderful opportunity. Having come over here, I am very happy to say that I am not disappointed. Very happy to see this entire setup. Naturally, when we say town hall meeting, invariably 99% of the town hall meetings that I attended, it is in a closed auditorium, but here it is in a natural environment. So thanks for that very good perception. And I'm very happy to have the company on the days, Professor Dr. Madhu Veeraraghavan. Of course, even though it is my first interaction with you, I'm really happy to have and happy to understand the depth of knowledge Dr. Madhu has, and definitely he has been rightly chosen to lead such an international level Institute of Management. Very happy to have you, sir. And of course, on the days you can see a lot of luminaries. Mr. Navneet Shetty is well known to me. Dr. C.A. Gururaj Acharya, he is on my board as an independent director. is a very popular and leading chartered accountant from Bengaluru. He is in our Karnataka Bank board since last 1 year. Of course, CASS Nayak needs no introduction. CA DB Mehta is one of my best friends, as well as I know I'm very happy to get acquainted with Dr. Chandrasekhar Bhatt as well as Dr. Srihari Upadhyaya and Trimurtis in Dr. our Aditya Mohan Jadhav also. So definitely they will not be disappointing you in providing the much sought after inner sight about the union budget. So as a banker, my one caveat to each one of you is that don't look at the budget from somebody else's eyes. This is a common mistake that we all of us do, so that we will be little bit prejudiced also. That should not be the thing, because we are all the students of the management, students of the economy. If you keep the nation first attitude in looking into any of the budgets, I think you will be able to really understand the strengths and the weakness of the budget. So from this angle, when we look into the union budget 23-24, so what is in store for us? I could clearly see that it is a work in progress. So naturally there is no much surprise if you are keenly following the previous budgets, the thought process of the central leadership, and the past, present, and the future. So as a student of business management, as a student of economy, I think if you have that type of mindset in looking into the budget, you will be able to have a fair view, a fair perspective of the budget. Secondly, look at where India is positioned as of now. I think it is very delighted to see that as much as 18 countries across the world have started using Indian currency, that is the rupee. This is the first time wherein 18 countries have de-dollarized their economy and started using Indian rupee. What is the significance? What message it is sending across the globe? So Indian currency is gaining currency. So India is dominating in the international trade. Please don't think that it has happened overnight. That is why I said, budget, you can treat it as a work in progress. We will definitely not rest at 18. It has to reach 80, 81, and one day, which we had not been able to dream for the last 75 years, one day Indian currency will rule the world. Do you agree with me or not? You have to take a call on this, and we have to understand in which direction we are moving. That is number one. Number two, look at the growth engine for the entire world. Many of the so-called developed countries, they have not been able to hold on to their own economic growth. I don't want to name any of the countries because you are very well aware of those countries, how they are struggling, and on the contrary, how Indian economy is surging. So even today, the 6.7% growth, or even a conservative growth of 6.4%, that is one of the best in the entire world, the growth. That means India is consistently, look at the COVID-19 effect, no country was spared. In spite of that, we have not derailed our growth engine, not only for India, but also for the entire world. So that means for the entire world, India is acting as a growth engine, and this is fueled by, if you look at the Indian budget, this growth aspect is fueled by the push in the infra sectors. 34.5% increase in infrastructure allocation itself. Of course, not just in this budget. If you look into the previous history of the budget, we will be in a better position to understand it, how consistently the Indian government is focusing on creating infra. Because for India, infrastructure development is its own growth engine. So that is the number one point. And second one, as a banker, I should acknowledge that the MSME's importance in developing a country like India. Lot of entrepreneurship impetus are inbuilt in this particular union budget, and naturally the MSMEs are regarded as the highest generator of the employment. And the equitable growth across India, still if you look at the state GDP, about 4 or 5 states, they are having the highest GDP, and the growth is not equally seen in across India. If you look at the northeastern states, they are treated as backward, and even some of the other states, the growth is not up to the expected level. So here is one solution which would provide a long-lasting solution, that is the MSME. So from these two major aspects, if you look into that, I think you will be able to get the budget, the focus of the budget in its totality. But I should also consider it as a forward-looking budget. Friends, we are all living in an era of only one certain thing. Undoubtedly, that is the change. Only change is permanent in this world. Nothing is permanent. The second very interesting thing is that the next few decades, maybe one full century, this change will be driven by technology. Do you agree? The technology-driven change is going to take over everywhere, and that is where you see the impact of AI. Of course, the ChatGPT has just entered into our head also. Look at the budget. Budget has proposal to create 3 centers of excellence for AI also. In the past, maybe about 10 years or 5 years back, 10 years back or prior to that, we were not in a position to imagine this type of changes. The future belongs to technology, and I am very happy that the budget has a proposal for creation of 3 centers of excellence, that is artificial intelligence, AI excellence, all in this proposal. Very happy to be amidst with you all, the professors of the university, the faculty members, the students who are pursuing their post-graduation as well as the post-doctoral research, the digital technology, the business administration. These are the things which would definitely drive the economy, and we can definitely see the growth across all segments of our fellow citizens, that is the Indian diaspora. Banking, definitely we are regarded as the nerve center of the economy. The South Kendra district, Dakshina Kannada, has been hailed as the cradle of banking, as this Manipal itself has given birth to one of the best banks of that era, Syndicate Bank. Thereafter, of course, we had Canara Bank now also. Apart from that, Vijaya Bank, Corporation Bank, and my own Karnataka Bank. My bank is entering, this is our centenary year, 100th year. What is the speciality of that? Today we have 43 banks across India. 15 banks have completed their 100 years. Still they are going strong. And of course we are just into the 100th year. And when I probed into the further details about these 15 banks who have started their operations prior to independence and still going strong, one unique feature about my bank is that there are no bank which have declared profit or incurred profit all through the 100 years, and the exception is only Karnataka Bank. Never in the past, in our 100 years of history, we had incurred loss. Such a wonderful management we have. I'm very happy that the present board is represented today here by C.A. Gururajacharya and such type of eminent personalities. Since you are in the field of business administration, I can definitely share with you that any listed company, it should have minimum 33% independent directors. But all along, Karnataka Bank had more than 70-75% independent directors. So they are here not to pursue their interest, but to pursue the interest of the bank. That is why we are very, very fortunate. And we are here to take forward that legacy. We already have planned the far-reaching initiatives for our centenary year. In fact, my board has already constituted a centenary celebration committee. So I'm very happy to connect to each one of you. And on this August occasion, once again, wishing C.S. Nayak and Dr. Madhu Veeraraghavan and all his team all the very best. Let us see that India is taken to a new high with the collective efforts of each one of us. My heartiest congratulations to Nammakudla team also. They are running a beautiful and excellent weekly program, Karnataka Bank Business Tonic. It is not just for the experts, but it is even for the laymen. And such a wonderful program, it has already completed 200 plus episodes on weekly basis. Hats off to C.A.S.S. Nayak and also to Madam Yashaswini also. These are the people who have pursuing that particular mass enlightening activities. My best wishes to each one of you, and thanks to all of you for having invited me for this function. Thank you one and all. All the best.
Thank you very much, sir, for those encouraging words. It is said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So as you said, the success or failure of a budget depends on the analysis and the minds of every person. The CAPEX, the MSME contributions, and all other schemes have to be analyzed in the right way. And today, through this budget town hall, we will be rightly analyzing it, enriching everyone with the food for thought and understanding the budget in the right way and in the right sense. Thank you once again, sir, and we expect that you will guide and support us throughout our journey. I now request C.A.S.S. Nayak, the past chairman of ICAI Mangaluru branch, and the director, anchor, and coordinator of Karnataka Bank Business Tonic to speak a few words on this occasion.
Good evening, dear friends and well-wishers. I don't want to stand between your lip and the cup, so I would like to cut short my speech because we have to concentrate on panel discussion. Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor of MAHE and Director TAPME, Dr. Madhu Veeraraghavan. Today's chief guest, our beloved and MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank, family bank across India, and it is the only bank now prevailing from our Karnataka here in Mangalore, Sri M.S. Mahabaleshwara sir, then CA Dwayas, CA D.B. Mehta and CA K. Gururaja Acharya, then Dr. Trayos, so Dr. Srihari Upadhyaya, Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt and Dr. Aditya Jadhav, and all elite audience and bright and genius students. Good evening to all of you. Whenever we start any show in Business Tonic, we start with our slogan, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳೇ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳೇ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರೇ ಆಗಿವೆಯಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಕ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಆಗಬೇಡಿ ಯಾವತ್ತು ಪ್ಯಾನಿಕ್. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಡ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿನಿಕ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟಾನಿಕ್. ನಾನು C.A.S.S. Nayak. But today I would like to little bit change this. My dear entrepreneurs and audience, are your budget confusions chronic? Do not panic. This is Tap Me Nammakudla Budget Town Hall Clinic. Here we will present you Karnataka Bank Business Tonic. I am CASS Nayak. So it became very easy for us because Dr. Madhuvira Raghavan started, our Yashaswini told that, started with the trailer. So we had already soup. Then starters have been provided by our MS Mahabaleshwar, our chief guest. Only main course and dessert is pending from our side. So I don't want to slip between the lip and the cup, as I already mentioned. ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಚುಟುಕು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಮಂಡನೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನ ದತ್ತ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಮಂಡನೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನ ದತ್ತ. ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ 1 ಎಲ್ಲರ ಚಿತ್ತ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನತ್ತ. ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ 1 ಎಲ್ಲರ ಚಿತ್ತ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬಜೆಟ್ ನತ್ತ. ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಉತ್ತುಂಗಕ್ಕೇರುತ್ತಿದೆ ಉನ್ಮತ್ತ. ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಉತ್ತುಂಗಕ್ಕೇರುತ್ತಿದೆ ಉನ್ಮತ್ತ. ನೋಡುತ್ತೀರಿ ಅತ್ತ ಇತ್ತ, ನೋಡುತ್ತೀರಿ ಅತ್ತ ಇತ್ತ, ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗಲಿದೆ ಸುತ್ತ ಮುತ್ತ. ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗಲಿದೆ ಸುತ್ತ ಮುತ್ತ. ಆಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಭಾರತ ಸದೃಢ ಸಶಕ್ತ. ಆಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಭಾರತ ಸದೃಢ ಸಶಕ್ತ. ಮುನ್ನುಗ್ಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಅಮೃತ ಕಾಲದತ್ತ. ಮುನ್ನುಗ್ಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಅಮೃತ ಕಾಲದತ್ತ. ಭಾರತ ದಾಪುಗಾಲಿಡುತ್ತಿದೆ ಆತ್ಮನಿರ್ಭರ ದತ್ತ. ಭಾರತ ದಾಪುಗಾಲಿಡುತ್ತಿದೆ ಆತ್ಮನಿರ್ಭರ ದತ್ತ. This budget, definitely, it is a direction giving budget. We can say that it is a forward looking budget, digital economy budget, green initiative budget, Amrit Kal's first budget, Atmanirbhar Bharat budget, infra push budget, inclusive growth and development budget. East or west, India is east or west, India is best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those energetic remarks. So, as sir rightly said, your soup is served, starters are served. It's time that we move ahead to the main course. But before that, I request Dr. Madhuvir Raghavan, sir, to hand over the mementos to our chief guests and the panelists for today's session. Shri MS Mahabaleshwara, sir, MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank. We thank you, sir, for being our chief guest today. I request Dr. Madhuvir Raghavan, sir, to present a memento to Shri MS Mahabaleshwara, MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful remarks. As a token of a special gratitude, CASS Naik sir also has a memento to be presented, which is a portrait drawn by Miss Nisha, a team member of CASS Naik. I request Dr. Madhuvir Raghavan sir to also present mementos to our panelists for today's session. CADB Mehta, the Vice President of Kadai Karnataka, the economic expert for the day. CAK Gururaj Acharya, banking and tax expert, independent director, Karnataka Bank. We are also presenting a pen which is considered to be a true sword to all the authors and experts here. We say a CA's signature is more valuable than that of the Prime Minister, so we believe that a pen is mightier than the sword as always. CASS Naik, the moderator and MSME and tax expert, past chairman, ICAI Magaluru. Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, investment consultant and financial planner, Dubai, UAE. He also has a famous YouTube channel, NRI Money Clinic, which enriches a lot of knowledge for the NRIs in kind of taxation and economy. Dr. Y. Srihari Upadhyaya, CEO, MUTVI, that is Manipal Universal Technology Business Incubator, Manipal. Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav, Dean, TAPMI, Bangalore. special token of gratitude from the SS Naik team, I request SS Naik sir to present a portrait to Sri Madhuvir Raghavan sir, also a hand-drawn portrait from Miss Nisha, a team member of SS Naik. A memory to be ever cherished. Once again, thank you to all the ones who are present here. I request the chief guests to kindly take their seat among the audience so that we can commence with our panel discussion.
ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ಮಂಕಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಈ ಸಲದ ಬಿತ್ತನೆಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾರತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೀಜ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಕೇಳೋದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಛೇ, ಅಷ್ಟೇನಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅಗತ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋ ಬಂಗಾರದಿಂದನೇ ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಬಹುದು.
ಏನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯಾ? ಬಂಗಾರದಿಂದ ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ?
ಹಾ ಹೌದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋ ಬಂಗಾರನ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಕೃಷಿ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಆಭರಣನೂ ಸುರಕ್ಷಿತವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಡಿ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ.
ಈ ಅಕ್ಷಯ ತೃತೀಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮೃದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಮನೆಗೆ ತನ್ನಿ.
ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ 20ರಿಂದ 23ರವರೆಗೂ ಭೀಮಾ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಮೆಗಾ ಅಕ್ಷಯ ತೃತೀಯ ಕೊಡುಗೆಗಳು.
ಪ್ರತಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಿನ್ನದ ಮೇಲೆ 650 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ ಲಭ್ಯ.
ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಟ್ ವಜ್ರಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ 7500 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ ಹಾಗೂ 2 ಚಿನ್ನದ ನಾಣ್ಯ ಉಚಿತ.
ಹಳೆಯ ಚಿನ್ನದ ವಿನಿಮಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಿನ್ನದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳ ಹೆಚ್ಚುವರಿ.
ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಳ್ಳಿಯ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ 50% ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ.
ತ್ವರೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ 18ರ ತನಕ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಬುಕಿಂಗ್ ತೆರೆದಿದೆ.
ಭೀಮಾ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲರ್ಸ್, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಉಡುಪಿ, ಹಾಸನ, ಮಂಗಳೂರು, ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ, ವಿಜಯವಾಡ, ಚೆನ್ನೈ, ರಾಜಮಂಡ್ರಿ, ಹೊಸೂರು.
ಷರತ್ತುಗಳು.
ಪೆನ್ನು ಪೇಪರ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಕೈಯಾಗ ನೀನ್ ಗುದ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಚಾಕ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಸಕ್ ಹತ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಗುವಿನ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಹಕ್ಕು. ಅದನ್ನು ಅವರಿಂದ ಕಸಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಡಿ.
ಜನಹಿತಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಜಾರಿ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ.
So welcome all to the Budget Town Hall, a direct discussion and interaction on the Union Budget 2023-4. The government has focused on a number of measures with regard to capital expenditure, green growth, youth power, inclusive development and whatnot. So there are a lot of tax reforms for the salaried class, change in slabs, clear indication of shifting to the new regime, etc. So let us learn more about the Union Budget and its impact on the Indian economy from our expert set of panelists. Since we've been, discussing more on food, we have 6 people sitting here, and as for Ayurveda, there are 6 rasas, or the 6 flavors. They are sweet, sour, salt, bitter, spicy, and astringent. So without these flavors, the food won't taste well. So here we have the 6 ratnas, the 6 rasas on budget today, who are going to fill us with the rasas and give us that flavor of budget and truly taste what exactly the budget stands for. So we have well-known dignitaries here who are experts in their respective fields, but I will take the privilege to introduce everyone briefly. We have Dharmendra B. Mehta, the CMD, popularly known as DB Mehta, who commenced his working life as a chartered accountant with additional qualifications in cost accounting and Bachelor of General Law. He enjoyed an eventful bureaucratic career as in the Indian Revenue Service, qualifying in the 1990 batch. He is the MD of Allegro Ventures India Private Limited. He was also laterally inducted as the president of Canada Builders Association. He's been the president of Board of Mangalore Stock Exchange for several years, a 2-term elected director on the board of Interconnected Stock Exchange of India, Mumbai. He has served as a chairman and 2-term president of CREDAI Mangalore. He is currently the vice president of CREDAI Karnataka. He is also the chairman of India Green Building Council Mangalore chapter and also the independent director in Mangaluru Smart City Limited. He's been the maximum number of times resource person in Karnataka Bank Business Tonic, and he is also having a huge following on television and YouTube, where he is popular for simplifying complex issues aimed at general understanding. A warm welcome to you, sir. We have CAK Gururaj Acharya sir with us. He's also come to our Business Tonic program many number of times explaining tax implications. He's the independent director of Karnataka Bank, and he's been the rank holder throughout his academics. He has been the first rank in university in BCom, final 10th rank and inter 21st rank in CA, inter first rank and final third rank in ICWA. He was a co-opted member of Expert Advisory Committee and Committee on Accounting Standards, and he's been a resource person on many topics such as accounting standards, standards in auditing, Companies Act and LLP, and he's a partner in KG Acharya and Co-Chartered Accountants, Bengaluru. A warm welcome to you, sir. We have CASS Naik sir with us. He is a very well-known personality and also acclaimed as Nani Palkiwala of Mangaluru, Dakshin Kannada, and has been practicing over the last 3 decades. He has already authored 3 books, Words of Wise, More Words of the Wise, and has many accolades to his name for promoting and developing MSMEs. He has received the Nitte KBL MSME Ratna Award in MSME Conclave, Lifetime Achievement Award for mentoring MSMEs and startups, Mentor of Mentors Award at ICAI Ballari, and also received the Karnataka Rajyotsava Dakshina Kannada District Award 2021 for social service. He has received Samaja Ratna Award, and he's recently been nominated as the co-opted member of MSME and Startup Committee of the Southern India Regional Council of ICAI. He's also been the lead speaker of Dare to Dream program conducted by the national channel in Zee Business at Mangalore, and his show, the Namakudla Karnataka Bank Business Tonic, has been directed, anchored and coordinated by him. A warm welcome to you, sir. We have with us Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, a practicing investment consultant and financial planner, especially helping the NRI community in their financial journey. He works from Dubai and India and has done financial planning for over 6 people in 60 countries. He started his career as a veterinary doctor and moved on to this interesting field of finance. He is an award from Chartered Insurance Institute of London. He is also a Life Underwriters Training Council Fellow and has done several courses from IIM Indore and MDI Gurgaon. He is chosen as the top 20 life influencers in the country by ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company. His famous YouTube channel, NRI Money Clinic, has produced over 200 videos which have details about finance, taxation, DTA, and over 50,000 views daily from the NRI community across the globe. A warm welcome to you, sir. We have with us as our panelist Dr. Vaishri Hari Upadhyaya, the CEO of MUTBI, that is Manipal Universal Technology Business Incubator. He has over 3 decades of industry academia experience and is having 5+ years experience as a CEO of MUTBI, strengthening entrepreneurial ecosystem at Mahe. After 3 years of stint at the industry, he joined MUTBI and as a lecturer and has over 25 years of academic experience. He is also the member of the Board of Management of Manipal Academy of Higher Education and during 18 to 20 and Fellow of Institution of Engineers, India, FIE. He is a member of IT and Startup Panel of CIF Mangaluru, and he is a BE from NIE Mysore, MTech from IIT Madras, and a PhD from VTU Karnataka. A warm welcome to you, sir. Another panelist for the day, we have Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav, representing TAPME, the Dean of TAPME Bengaluru. Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav is a doctorate in finance from ICFAI University, and he has a teaching experience of over 12 years, industry experience of 2 years. During his tenure at TAPME, he has held a lot of important positions as Program Chair of TAPME Banking and Financial Service Program, TAPME Admissions in Charge, and prior to taking over as Associate Dean at TAPME, he was the HOD of Accounting, Economics and Finance area. He's conducted a lot of corporate programs with Indian Railways, ICICI, MRPL, Syndicate, etc. And his areas of research include financial planning, corporate finance, project finance, investment banking, etc. He's published over 10 papers in reputed journals and has been a visiting academic research at Monash University, Australia from 2008 to 2009. A warm welcome to you, sir, to the gathering. So here we have our Shad Rasas, the 6 experts in budget. So over to CASS Naik, sir, to moderate the session and to give an insight on what the budget actually is and its impact on Indian economy.
Good evening, friends. It's my proud privilege to moderate this sensational event, Union Budget and its impact on Indian economy. We all know Union Budget has been announced on February 1st. Earlier, the budget used to be presented at the end of the Feb or March. Since 2014, now like August 15th is Independence Day, 26th January is a Republic Day, now we can say that February 1st is Budget Day. The purpose of presenting budget on 1st Feb itself is to ensure that it gets enacted before 31st March and implementation can be started from 1st April itself, so that there will not be any loss of time in implementation of the budget. Really, we should applaud the farsightedness of our central government in this regard. Of course, Nirmala Sitharaman, the first lady finance minister to present the budget, she has presented now 5th budget also. People are all aware, since the introduction of GST with effect from 1st July 2017, indirect taxes in the form of GST is outside the purview of central budget, because this GST is taken care by GST Council, where all the members of the states as well as finance minister of the center, they meet frequently and take decisions. Moreover, simplification of the taxes. Now income tax also they are simplifying year by year, so that middle class people can file their returns on their own, including business people under presumptive scheme. They can file on their own also. So lot of initiatives have been taken. Of course, due to this infra push, the impact on our economy is also marvelous. All these things we will discuss in length. We have eminent panelists with us. First I would like to start with the CADB Mehta. He is a chartered accountant. Then he is a real estate Kradai vice chairman of Karnataka also. Then he is ex-IRS also. Then presently he is a taxpayer, this side also. He has seen both the sides. So before presentation of any budget, previous day they present economic survey. What is economic survey? Economic survey means it is just a direction in which we are going. And whatever we have presented the budget and what is the actual. This is comparison of budget versus actuals. So this economic survey 2023, what are the highlights? Can you just brief?
See, every economic survey is basically a numerical statement of the political economy as presented by the government. It not only talks about the achievement of the past, but it also gives you a statement of account based on what was presented in the previous year's budget and what has been achieved. It is also a futuristic statement which gives us an indication as to where our economy is heading, in which direction, both in terms of reforms as well as economic and taxation policies. Economic survey is a kind of an insight into what will be coming up in the budget as an economic policy as well. The economic survey gives you the direction in which the government is thinking as to where the economy will be, not only in the short term, maybe a 1 to 3 years time frame, or in the medium term, maybe 5 to 10 years, but long term as well. In the last few years, you must have seen, we have been talking about where India would be in 2030, where India would be in 2047, 100 years of our independence, and where India would be, even in the long term. This kind of statements were earlier only with the political rhetoric rather than in terms of an economic plan and action. Economic survey now incorporates the plan and action not only for the immediate next few years, but for the next few decades. So it's a very important statement which we all should read and understand what's happening in the finance ministry and what's playing in the government's mind.
CA Gururaj Acharya. Now this fiscal deficit is there in every budget now, we have seen. But we are very proud to say that in Karnataka budget this time, revenue surplus budget, of course, first time in the history. In our union budget, there is always fiscal deficit. Can you just brief about our GDP and fiscal deficit 20 to 23 vis-a-vis 23-24 projection?
Thank you, Mr. Naik, for that wonderful question. I have a different way of looking at the GDP of the country. The GDP that is expected for the next financial year 23-24 is about 3 lakh crores. Look at this, 3 lakh crores. And our budget outlay for next year is about 45 lakh crores. 45 lakh crores. Okay? 45 lakh and 3 lakh crore, Mehtaji. Now, if you look at the fiscal deficit, they have told that the fiscal deficit is going to be about 5.9%. 5.9%. We as bankers, my MD is also here, we look at the fiscal deficit in the budget as a percentage of GDP. As a percentage of GDP. But if you look up from the total outlay of the budget, it would be as high as 40%. You know how? I'll just tell you. Our total budget is how much? 45 lakh crores. 45 lakh crores. And the deficit, the fiscal deficit is about 17 lakh crores. 17.86 lakh crores to be precise. So 17.86 lakh crores divided by 45 lakh is actually 40%. The deficit, we always put our pat on the back and say that it is only 5.9%. But looking at, like what our MD said, I liked it very much, that when we talk about paying taxes, we look at from our point of view. But if you put the nation first, we will probably be benefited in terms of understanding the problems that the finance minister has. Because out of the total 45 lakh crores budget, the biggest outflow of 20%, the biggest outflow of the budget outlay is towards interest payment. 20% of the total budget outlay is towards interest alone. So that leaves a very little gap for the developmental aspect. Although our finance minister has done a good, mix and tried to push as much as towards the capital outlay. Because any budget which pushes towards capital infrastructure would be called as a growth-oriented budget. But what we need to understand is that fiscal deficit is not just 5.9%. If it is 5.9% of the total turnover of the country, Mr. Naik, GDP must be looked at as the total turnover of the country. The gross domestic product, what we call, is the total turnover of the country. So 5.9%, when we say the fiscal deficit, it is in relation to the total turnover of the country. But when you look at the budget outlay of 45 lakh crores, it would be as high as 40%. So that is what we need to understand. Thanks, Mr.
Now, inflation. Inflation is the major issue everywhere. One should appreciate across the globe, so-called developed countries, they have registered, even in some countries, double-digit inflation and either negative growth or a meager growth 1 or 2%. But in spite of all odds, may it be geopolitical issue, may it be recession across the globe, or boiling oil situation, still India's inflation, of course, it is not 100% controlled. It is crawling around 6%. Of course, it should be reduced to 3% or 4%. Now, India's GDP, in spite of all these odds, when compared to other developed nations, and inflation, when compared to other developed nations, still we are in better position. Why? Dr. Aditya Jadhav.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Naik sir. Okay. So, if you understand inflation in simple terms, there is a slight difference between inflation and growth. Growth is when there is an increase in volume production along with price, a combination which just results into more products being available to everyone and hence is good. Whereas inflation is where the volume production is missing and it's more in the price side. Okay, so we should understand that when governments try to control inflation, and one of the best ways of controlling inflation is what the RBI does by increasing the repo rates and reverse repo rates and increasing the cost of funding for the banks, and then automatically the cost of funding for the common people, right? Availability of funds to the people reduces, and when the availability of the funds to the people reduce, they will purchase less, demand will reduce, inflation will reduce, but that can hit growth as well. The Indian Reserve Bank has consciously taken a decision of balancing inflation and growth both. This is actually something that is a diversion from what RBI's mandate is. RBI's mandate is to control inflation at 4% plus minus 2% in severe conditions, and we are at slightly above 6%, so it's above the RBI mandate. But in the recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting, they decided not to increase the repo rate, if I understand correctly, if I remember correctly, just to ensure that the growth does not get hit. So this balancing act, which is supporting what the government is doing. So one of the key things many times people say is the inflation is also being pushed because the government's investments in the capital outlay is so large. But one should also understand that the capital outlay is what will generate growth few years down the line. So today's capital outlay, if it is generating slightly higher inflation, it will still be under control in 1 or 2 years down the line, because the focus is on growth management along with inflation management and not to curb growth for inflation management. So that's from us.
Now you are just touched upon this repo. Now our investment consultant and financial planner from Dubai, Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, it is said that when Fed gets cold, all other countries start squeezing. So, but this time, even though Fed got cold, India did not squeeze. Okay, Fed has increased recently by 25 basis points, but India has not fallen the same track. For the last 1 year, 250 basis points that repo has been increased. Of course, it is detrimental to the growth. So cost of funds is increasing. Then all EMIs, they are also increasing, and very difficult to get eligibility for car loan or housing loan or mortgage loans for middle class people. All these issues are there. These 250 basis points repo rate increase is there. What is your opinion in the near future? Whether there will be further increase of repo or it will come down? Just you can compare global economy vis-a-vis Indian economy.
The RBI action finally boils down to two things. One, what is your inflation and growth trade-off that you are going to take?
Second thing is what the Fed is doing. If the Fed continuously keeps on increasing the rate and you maintain the rates lower in India, it can result in an outward movement of the dollars from the India to outside of the country. So these are the two things which will the RBI will be looking at it. Now we have seen in case of US when the rates increase, now recent incidents of bank failures we observe. Just because the rates increased and it was a drawdown which happened on one of the banks and the bank collapsed. Equally true, for the first time in the history we are seeing, now we have the bankers here, the FCNR rate and the rupee deposit rates are almost similar. Never in the history we have seen FCNR rates and the rupee rates being so close. Always there used to be about 4, 5, 6, maybe 8% difference used to be there. It speaks volumes about the strength of the Indian economy. It has never happened. There are more observations now here. For example, never in the history that I remember, when the US markets fell, Indian markets used to fall like 9 pence. But it did not happen this time. US Dow Jones, which went up to 36,000, it dropped down to 30. Indian Sensex made a peak of 62. Today, it is still at 60. Where did it bottom out? It bottomed out at 52,000. So when the FIs used to pull out the money, Indian investors also used to pull out the money. But this time, the Indian investors have become very intelligent investors. Today, Indian markets are receiving approximately 12,000 crores by way of SIP inflows into the market month on month. When FIs are selling out of pressure, fear, whatever the reason, the intelligent investor is buying into the market today. The US Dow is still more than 10% below its previous peaks, whereas Indian Sensex is almost at rendezvous with its previous peaks. So the Indian fundamentals today are very strong. If we neglect the Fed rate rise, probably the trajectory that the Indian RBI would take is pause, hold it for some time, then move towards the downward direction. But out of compulsion, if the Fed rises sharply, which is very, very unlikely, then RBI maybe as a competitive thing may have to increase the interest rate.
India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and we are proud that Bangalore, Karnataka, we are the #1 startup ecosystem in India. For unemployment amongst the youth, this startups ecosystem has contributed a lot to the growth. Presently, 80,000 plus startups are being registered with the DPIIT portal, Startup India portal, and every day 80 plus startups are being registered in India. What is the contribution of Startup India portal since 2016 for the growth of the startup ecosystem in India? Dr. Upadhyay.
Now, if we recall 2016, Nayak has mentioned this year, quite interesting one, because we got economic liberalization from 1991 onwards. Exactly 25 years later, we started with Startup India policy in 2016. And DPIIT has come up with the portal. It provides a complete info about number of the startups being registered and at what stage they are and what is the funding inflow into these startups. But sometimes if you get into the real the statistics, we work at an incubator, you may not get correct the picture, but more or less it gives a overview in terms of number of the startups, 80,000 plus. In that, more than 15,000 are the tech startups. Then, okay. Now, apart from this, then another point I wanted to highlight, being the third largest, which means more than 500 incubators, accelerators in India, which is compared to close to 2,500 at China and 1,200 in the US. Okay. So these are developments which we are having and primarily driven by the DPIIT. And in 2016, government also came up with another funding policy close to 1,000 crores to support the startups. All such details in terms of funding, different the startup, the stages have been identified or projected in DPIIT, the portal. I'm also happy to add one more the point. SS Nayak mentioned about Karnataka, which is considered as Silicon Valley of India. Recently we had Technovans at the Mangalore, where we had Deputy the CM who is driving such initiatives in Karnataka, and Mangalore has been, or Mangalore region has been declared as the Silicon Beach of India. Okay, thank you.
Friends, now I think if we discuss about only economy, you may get bored. Let us mix some taxation now, so that you will get a little bit interesting. And we will give you last 30 to 45 minutes for shooting the questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. We will give you the mic to you, or you can give write in sheet and send also. Both are permitted. So we will give 30 to 40 minutes time for you also. Now let's come to directly C.A.K. Gururaj Acharya, who is a banking and tax expert. So what is there in this budget? New regime, old regime, 7 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, 37% surcharge, all these confusions are there. Can you just throw light on this taxation of this budget?
Let me tell you one important thing, that the budget was passed, budget speech was made on 1st of February. And at that stage, it was called a finance bill. On 31st of March, the finance bill became a finance act. How does it happen? It goes through the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and then finally when it receives the assent of the president, it becomes an act. So on 31st of March, the finance bill became finance act. So it is just 11 days since we have seen the finance act in totality, because there could be a lot of changes. Now, answering Mr. Nayak's question, let me tell one thing. There may be a lot of confusion when it comes to the old regime, the new regime, the reductions, etc. But let me tell you the good news. The good news is it is going to reduce the taxes. It is certainly going to be confusing, but confusing as it may be, you go to your chartered accountant or without the chartered accountant also, there are softwares which can put in the numbers and it will throw which regime is better. Having said that, let me just try to unravel the contents of the budget as far as direct taxes are concerned. What the finance minister did was, she tried to push as much as possible people to adopt the new regime. Now what was this old regime? Old regime is 0 to 2.5 lakhs nil, 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs 5%, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs 20%, and more than 10 lakhs 30%. So that was there and continues to be there as such. That is what is now put up on the screen on that side as the old regime. Now when it comes to the new regime, when it comes to the old regime, let me again tell you that if you adopt that, you can get all the exemptions and deductions which were otherwise available to you. Now let's talk about the new regime. Now when you talk about the new regime, until last year, people who adopted the new regime were only 15% of the total individuals who were filing their income tax returns. That means the new regime was not very attractive. This budget has made the new regime most attractive. And what is expected is about 65%. 2/3 of the people who are filing their income tax returns will probably move to the new regime. How is it made attractive? First of all, the slab rates have been fine-tuned, the slab rate was earlier up to 2.5 lakhs nil, and for every 2.5 lakhs there was a 5% increase in the tax rate. Now what has happened now is they have increased the basic exemption only for the new tax regime. Let me be very clear, only for the new tax regime, the basic exemption limit has been moved up from 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs, as you can see on the screen. And for every 3 lakhs thereafter, for every 3 lakh rupees of total income thereafter, the slab rate is increasing by 5%. So first of all, the basic exemption limit has gone up and the tax rates have been increased 5% for every 3 lakhs thereafter as against 2.5 lakhs earlier. That was the first change. The second important change is, for the new regime alone, we have something called a rebate. That means if your income is up to 7 lakhs, earlier we said up to 5 lakh only, that rebate was available. If your income is up to 5 lakhs, you don't have to pay any rupee of income tax. Although, if your income is more than 5 lakhs, you had to pay taxes. Now what has happened now is, for the new regime, the rebate under section 87A has moved up to 7 lakh rupees. Now let me tell you, from the finance bill, we were always telling in the finance bill, what happens if a person's income was 7 lakh and 1 rupee? What happened if it were to be 7 lakh and 1 rupee? Mahabaleshwar sir, we used to say, if you hated somebody, Madhuji, if you hated somebody, you increase his salary from 7 lakhs per annum to 7 lakh and 1 rupee. You know, he had to pay 26,000 rupees of income tax. For that 1 rupee increase in income, he had to pay 26,000. So that was the impact. Unfortunately, until last year, this was the situation, even for 5 lakhs. Even in the finance bill, this was the picture. But in the Finance Act, they have given what is known as the marginal relief. Now, what is this concept of marginal relief? It means that if your income is, let us say, 7 lakh and 100 rupees, you decide, for 7 lakh and 100 rupees, your tax may be 26,010 rupees. You now say, for that extra 100 rupees, I will pay that entire 100 rupees as tax. So which means you have a cutoff beyond which, up to which paying income itself as tax is better. And beyond a point of cutoff, you will probably be better off paying the taxes than the incremental income. I hope I made it clear. So let me repeat it. In case your income is up to 7 lakhs, you are not required to pay 1 rupee of tax under the new regime only. Let me again tell you. Mostly everybody would adopt that. Mostly everybody would adopt the new regime. Now, having said that, if your income is slightly more than 7 lakh rupees, until last year you should have paid taxes on 7 lakh and 1 rupee. Maybe it was coming to 26,000 rupees. But now you pay that 1 rupee extra, pay 2 rupees extra, pay one, even if it is 50,000 rupees, you better off pay off 50,000 rupees additional income as taxes. But there is a cutoff point. After that cutoff point, probably you will be paying the taxes. The third important change in the new regime is, until last year, standard deduction for a salaried person, and a salaried person is the most affected person in income tax, I always say. He is the one who is paying the taxes promptly. Now, he would not get any deductions, and last year standard deduction was introduced. Now they said, if you come under the new regime, you can definitely claim standard deduction. Otherwise, under the old regime, there are a lot of deductions and exemptions. Under the new regime, there was no deduction available until last year. So to make that interesting, they have made standard deduction as an allowable deduction even for those who are opting for new tax regime. Along with that, they could also claim family pension. If somebody is getting not the salary but their family pension, even they can claim
up to 15,000.
Up to 15,000 rupees.
Yes.
Up to 15,000 rupees. And there is one very interesting section called the 80CCH, which they have introduced for contribution to Agniveer fund.
Let us forget about that Agniveer.
No, I'm just telling that these are the three
exceptional cases. Let us now please pardon me. Now, Agniveer and all exceptional cases, let us not discuss now this. Now, as you have mentioned, it is a new regime. Earlier, by default, it was a old regime, and new regime you have to select. Now, new regime is by default. I don't talk about last year which you are going to file now. It is not there. Current year, it will be we are going to file next year. If you don't take, if you don't have choice, if you don't choose, by default, you are in new regime. If you want old regime, you have to choose. That is one thing. Second thing is, as per the new regime, of course they have made very attractive. Up to 9 lakhs if you have income, only 45,000 tax. That means only 5% straight away if you take. Up to 12 lakhs income if you have 90,000, that means only 7.5% tax. So if you have 12 lakhs income, if you pay 90,000, 11 lakh 10,000, you can dispose as you like. There is no blah 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 deduction like ATC, ATD, ATE, all other deductions. But one issue in India, see DB Mehta. We are shifting from saving based economy to spending based economy. We are copying Western culture. In Western countries, it is spending based economy rather than saving based economy. But in India, it is saving based economy because here social security system is very weak. 95% of the people, they are not covered under social security systems, except those who are getting pension income or some other income. Other than that, those people, if you don't encourage savings, if you encourage spending in their last legs during retirement time, it is very difficult. So what is your say and what is your analysis about this CADB method?
See, if you look at the global figures, India is still considered to be one of the largest individual saving economy. I'll give you some statistics here. Some people save, some people borrow. So we have to look at both the figures simultaneously to understand this concept. In India, if you look at the total borrowing of the people from banks, from other sources, which are accepted in the financial system, we have a total borrowing of 36% of our GDP in the individual category. These are not business borrowings, these are in the individual category. The global average is 82%. And in the US, it is more than 100% of the GDP, which is only the individual borrowings. So if you look at the Western world, people have already borrowed the next year's GDP and living today. We are borrowing 3 years hence and living today. In the US, the individual saving ratio is virtually nil because of the very huge borrowing and very low rate of interest the banks give there to the individual depositors. Whatever saving happens through mutual funds, pension funds, and so forth. In India, we still have a very reasonable rate of interest given by the banks. Currently, it will be anywhere between 7 to 8% per annum. That encourages further saving into the formalized sector. You look at the idea of generating capital through savings. The savings of individuals come as the fixed deposit with the banks, or it goes to the capital market as capital creation, and it gets back into the industry through either the capital expenditure or borrowing money and then converting it into capital expenditure. This helps the Indian economy because we have a largely MSME economy which believes in plowing back the returns, the savings back into the business. Whereas in the Western world, if you look at, say, I'm giving an example of China, where we always compare India with China. The total borrowing, including the corporate borrowing and the individual borrowing and the government borrowing, is more than 360% of GDP. Japan, it is more than 400% of the GDP. Mind well, this is total borrowing, not the government borrowing. It includes the corporate borrowings as well as it includes the individual borrowings. In India, it is only 170%. So we are a saving-based economy rather than a debt-based economy. And to achieve a growth of 6% on a saving-based economy is a phenomenon which no other developed country has been able to regenerate. It's very easy to borrow money and create GDP. If Karnataka Bank is giving me 100 crores tomorrow, I will generate GDP of 100 crores. It's so easy. But if I have to generate 100 crores GDP out of my own internal accruals of my corporate, it takes years and years to accumulate that kind of reserves to plow back into the business. So to generate 6% annualized GDP from a saving-based economy is a phenomena which has not been seen anywhere in the world.
Dr. Bhatt, you are investment consultant and most influential life insurance planner. It has been introduced in your CV. Now this budget, it is detrimental for insurance companies, they said. And see, insurance penetration in India when compared to other developed economies, it's very, very, very meager. Still in India, in urban area, more than 70% of the people are not insured. In rural area, more than 90% of the people are not insured. In such a situation, how this budgetary changes, 5 lakhs above premium in the aggregate, during that maturity proceeds, it will be taxable. One, ULIP, 2 years back itself, they have introduced 2.5 lakhs, in excess of rupees 2.5 lakhs premium per annum, that is also taxable. What is your analysis about this?
Any provisions which are made in the budget has nothing to do with the insurance penetration in India. It will not materially alter insurance penetration at all. If you look at the statistics of the insurance companies, people who buy insurance policies of the magnitude which has come under the taxation is less than 6%. So 94% of the people who buy insurance policies buy for a value which is lesser than 5 lakh per annum. What is it the finance minister is trying to do here? The system had lots of arbitrages which are built around it. The tax loopholes. It's just not the insurance segment. You had the VPF accounts earlier, which were getting 100%.
PF, not PPF.
No, VPF accounts. The senior management used to get a lot of VPF account, put it there, and you will bypass the tax. You put it in the mutual fund, there was 100% tax exemption was there, and in the 2018 budget, Mr. Jaitley brought it under the taxation and brought 10% taxation. And there was arbitrage in the unit-linked insurance plan, which were plugged in the year 2021. Now, recently, the insurance companies brought wonderful product called the guaranteed return insurance plan. These plans were so good, they were giving more than the bank rate of return. If you go to a bank and get a rate of return, you have to deposit all the money in one day. Whereas these insurance companies, you pay for 1 year and you bring the rest of the money over next 10, 12 years, you get an interest rate guarantee for rest of your life, and you don't have to pay any taxes. So the high net worth individuals, super HNIs, made best use of this and created a tax arbitrage. The purpose of the amendment, the proposals which are made, is to plug this loophole. It will partially affect the super HNIs, but it will not affect the general public in any way.
Also, let me just add one point. See, insurance is also taken for the purpose of insuring the self. In case the person dies, the other person the family should receive it. So on the death of the person, this is anyway exempt even if it is more than 5 lakhs.
Correct.
That is one point. The second point on the new regime, I just wanted to add, since it is made a default option, but for everybody to note that new regime is going to be the default option. If you want to be under the old regime, for whatever reason, you find the deductions and exemptions attractive, then you might have to file your income tax return within the due date. Because the option to exercise the old regime has to be done before the due date of filing the income tax return. So that's a very important point to be noted.
And business people having business income, only once they can come in reverse gear.
Absolutely.
And other than business income, they can go any number of
between the
times
schemes every year. If you don't have a business income, a businessman can opt out once, but he cannot come back to the regime. So that's how it is told. And also thanks to Dr. Mehta, I mean, I made a mistake of telling the GDP number. It is 302 lakh crores, not 3 lakh crores. Okay. That's,
just a word to add. The insurance penetration, what you were telling, there was a time where the insurance policies had to be pushed. You should tell about the concept of insurance. Thanks to pandemic, today insurance policies are bought.
Insurance is not sold,
Insurance is bought. So every youngster today knows that the first thing that they have to do when they get into a career is to buy an insurance. Even in a rural area, even in a health insurance segment, during the pandemic, the latent need of any individual which was not felt suddenly came into a perceived need. So there is no need of a push to sell an insurance policy today. People buy it on their own. That level of education has happened in India. Yes.
So one more thing, one person's benefit is a loss is another person's benefit. Now because of this 5 lakhs and above aggregate premium, it is maturity proceeds are taxable. They can again come back to banking system and they can deposit with the bank. And in bank, one advantage is bank will get more and more funds. In turn, they lend to the economy and there will be growth of the economy. But insurance company, they are only investing, they are not lending.
It's just not, the banking deposits will grow not only because of this insurance sector reforms, the proposals, it's also because of something which happened in the mutual funds. The debt funds of the mutual funds were attracting the capital gains, the long-term capital gains, and you had an indexation benefit. So people used to use this. They used to use it in the form of debentures, and you are holding in the form of fixed maturity plans, and the high net worth individuals used to escape the accrual-based income tax and move for that capital gains. And the banking sector was badly getting affected. Hopefully, the monies already started moving into the banking circles now.
This is a very interesting point what you mentioned. I'll just add it. This got changed only through a backdoor finance act, and it was not there in the original finance bill. What was there in the finance bill was market-linked debentures. Market-linked debentures will always be short-term. I mean, when you sell a market-linked debenture, it is always short-term gain. What came in through the amendment in the finance bill was, in case you invest in a debt fund, how they have defined debt fund is any fund in which the equity investment is less than 35% of the fund amount. The fund investing in the equity is less than 35% is called as a debt fund. And in case I am investing in such a debt fund after 1st of April, people, that's why it rushed before 31st of March, there was a small window, we got to know. So a lot of people invested. For them, even when they sell it, it could go by the long-term, short-term, 3 years holding period. But for those people who have invested after 1st of April on the debt fund will always be short-term, which is a great news for the arbitrage which they used to have vis-a-vis the bankers is now lost. So thanks to the finance minister from the bankers' point of view.
Okay. Now, Dr. Aditya Jadhav. Now we say that it is a green push budget. What are the green initiatives in this budget and how it will impact or far-reaching impact on the economy?
The government is really serious about the green initiatives, and that is the best part. I would like to reiterate that TAPME as a school itself is committed to the SDGs, United Nations SDGs. We have already selected around 7 to 8 SDGs and we are working on it. We have a very interesting conclave called SEVA, which is done by the students, where they actually look at solutions, green solutions to various activities. And we are very proud of this initiative. And when we saw what the government was doing, it was something that we were really looking for. For example, the amount of money that the government is now investing in the green initiatives that you can see from here, right? Whether it's the 3,000 crore investment in renewable energy, or you can look at the huge amount of money that is going into various other aspects of green bonds. We are also looking at solar energy sector, and so many other sectors are getting money. The whole idea is that fossil fuel based energy solutions will start getting impacted soon, right? The temperature is increasing a lot, and
organic farming.
There are a lot of other initiatives. Yeah, even hydrogen-based fuel cars, hydrogen fuel-based cars that Shri Gadkari ji is continuously pushing for are really going to be a game changer today. Today we move to a lot of people move to electric vehicles. We are taking electric vehicles because there is a subsidy on electric vehicles which makes them attractive. Tomorrow the problem of batteries might start coming in, and that's where the government has already decided that to move away from electric vehicles or to find a solution better off in the form of the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So if the hydrogen vehicles, hydrogen based fuel vehicles really come up, the things will be much better off in terms of climate. And we are sure that over time our dependence on coal should go down, and that is the focus of the green push of this budget.
Talking about green, since Mr. Mahabaleshwar is here, ESG is the very important concept that we are using, or as corporates, every company which is in the top 1,000 listed companies have to come out with an ESG policy. What is ESG policy? Environmental, social and governance, which we have to give a big disclosure in our financial statements from financial year 22-23 onwards. So showing how much of push we are giving towards the environment. Probably one of the things I can talk about is maybe all of us should remove the coat so that there will be less energy consumption on the fan and air conditioners towards that. Thank you.
Mr. Nayak, just allow me this one indulgence. Being a chairman of the India Green Building Council of Mangalore chapter, you know, it's a very dear subject to me. And I have been into the renewable energy business from the year 2006, setting up windmills in Karnataka and Maharashtra. Now, this is one budget which has brought in tremendous impact on the green initiatives. We are only talking about the capital outlays of 10 lakh crores into infra, but we are overlooking 3 lakhs crores plus allocated for energy security through green initiatives. This is a huge change and a huge allocation of 3,50,000 crores for green initiatives for energy security. And this will be a game changer. In these green initiatives, the national hydrocarbon policies, you know, waste to wealth generating gobar gas, or, you know, various other initiatives have been taken care of. Even the, the battery energy storage systems. This 3,50,000 crores will take us towards the goal which we have of generating 50% electricity through green modes. Yeah, and even the solar PV. You look at Ladakh. Ladakh has the highest solar energy available, because we sometimes misunderstand. Hot weather does not mean solar energy. Clear sun means solar energy. Ladakh is one area where it rains very little. So it has real sun available for a longer duration throughout the year. 20,000 crores will be invested just to evacuate the power generated through solar energy from Ladakh to the mainland. This is the extent to which this government is going green. And we have surpassed so many targets set by the government in green generation. And the world is looking at India now as a country which is taking real massive steps and stride into green energy. Thank you.
Dr. Upadhyaya, in this budget, Agri Accelerator Fund for rural startups, they have announced. Can you just brief about that?
Okay. If you are looking at various sectors where importance have been given, so agriculture is the one area, and during this session, the chief guest mentioned the technology is the future an opportunity. And if at all we want to double the farmers' income, one of the ways is to get into then agri-tech. Then okay. And here you will find fund allocations not only for growing various the farm products, but also using the technology to reach to the mass. These are some of the areas where one can look at and explore the possibility, so that we will be able to create an impact on the society. Thank you.
There are shocking changes and dynamic changes. TCS on foreign remittance. Dr. Bhatt, can you add? You can add also. And TCS is your subject also. But foreign remittance, now if you take education loan 0.5% in excess of 7 lakhs, that is continued, even hospital expenditure outside India. But now, the same has been increased now, and for overseas foreign package tours, it is a shocking news for all. If you plan for foreign package tour, 20% TCS you have to pay, 20% TCS. Can you just brief about foreign remittance? Even LRS also, it is hit by this TCS. Can you just brief about it?
Being a no-nonsense government, it is taking steps in the right direction. It's a tax rationalization measure. If you're finding an arbitrage to move the money out of the country and show it under some other expense, the government is telling you pay the TCS today. TCS is a preventive taxation. It is not the ultimate taxation. If you're not liable to pay the taxes, file the returns and claim back. As simple as that. You buy a vehicle, you do go ahead with the TCS, and there are so many other provisions. I don't see anything wrong as such.
In excess of 10 lakhs, if you buy the vehicle, there is a 1% TCS.
All right.
In case of property transactions, 50 lakhs and above, there is a 1% TDS. For NRIs, there is no concession from rupee 1, there is a TCS. Even TDS also in case of property transactions.
For NRIs, forget about this TCS. You try to sell up the property, unless you go for a predetermination of your tax liability, you have to shell down a hell of a lot of money as the TDS amount. It's just one another way where probably there was a lot of people used to evade taxes or create an arbitrage that has been plugged in. That's it.
While I fully agree with you.
Now Guru Raj Acharya can add. Can you explain in detail the provisions of TCS on foreign tour, package tour, and it is applicable at what rate and with effect from what, and what are the precautions and how they have to file the return and get back?
Now, let us say Nayak goes along with his wife to US and he pays 10 lakh rupees to the tour operator. The tour operator is under an obligation to collect 2 lakhs extra, 20% of the 10 lakhs from Mr. Nayak. With effect from 1st July 2000. In fact, you know, it was always there.
Before July we can go.
No, before July it was 5% always. It was already 5%. So 10 lakhs ka upar 5% means 50,000 rupees. So 50,000 rupees you had to pay. So it was, if you go till 30th of June, you'll have to pay 10 lakh and 50,000 rupees to the tour operator. The tour operator will remit this 50,000 rupees to your PAN account. And as Dr. Chandrakant rightly said, you can file, when you file your income tax return, pay your income taxes, you can get the credit of this 50,000 rupees.
Even for hospitalization also.
Even for hospital, I mean, since you asked tour, I'll finish off tour first, then I'll come to hospitals. So 10 lakh rupees now, from 1st of July, it will be 20%, which is 2 lakh rupees. Now, why this particular provision? This is where I liked what Mr. Mahabaleshwar mentioned, put the nation first. There were a lot of situations where people used to go abroad, remit money abroad, in fact, LRS. In fact, I would prefer that 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4 here in your table is applicable to LRS. What is LRS? Liberalized remittance scheme. Up to $2.5 lakh, you can remit outside India without any conditions. Now, if it is coming under 1, 2, and 4, which is for education, for health, and for any other purpose, it will be applicable. I mean, the TCS will be applicable. Whereas for overseas tour package, it is on a separate side. It is not linked to LRS. Even if you are, let us say Mr. Madhu is going to Singapore on an official trip, even that will be subject to TCS. Whereas 1, 2, and 4 is with respect to LRS, whereas tour package could be for official tour purpose also. Now coming to hospitalization, suppose I take any of my relatives to New York for getting some treatment, I will have to pay TCS even on that. Now Nayak may say, this is a very harsh provision for hospitalization. Why should I collect TCS? I mean, as Dr. Chandrakant rightly said, if you have the ability to take somebody to New York, you have the ability to pay that much more. Otherwise, you come to Manipal for treatment. And for the treatment, you of course have to show the income, but if you have taxable income, you can always get a credit of whatever has been paid for. So that is how I would look at it. This is a very good move to stop the culprits who are actually remitting outside, never filing income tax returns. At least 20% the government is getting. In the Finance Act, they made one very interesting amendment, which they said that in case the person does not have PAN or he has not filed his income tax returns, then the tax rate should be double the applicable rates, which means if the person does not have PAN in this particular situation, the TCS would have been 40%. What they said is it is restricted to 20%. So that's the change which has happened in the amendment in the Finance Act.
Apart from the tax evasion angle, there are two other angles which have not been stated openly by the government, but one can really predict why they are doing this. Number one, a lot of investment is happening in the real estate outside India, be it Dubai, be it London or New York. The rate of return on your rental income in the Western world, including Dubai, is somewhere between 7% to 10% today. Whereas in India, if you invest in real estate, your returns are only hardly 3% in rental income. So to stop more and more investment abroad in real estate, TCS will be a big dampener. And that will put a brake on money going out of the country. The second unstated reason is, if you have noticed, the dollar became expensive by 15% over a period of 1 year. From a dollar index of 100, it went up to 115 somewhere in the month of January. And rupee also depreciated from 75 to 83. Now dollar in the last 3 months has depreciated from 115 to 102. That is almost around 12% dollar has depreciated. Rupee is virtually there. It is at 82. The government is still concerned about the flight of capital and it wants to conserve forex. The biggest investment going out of India is not in tours or medical or college fees or personal expenses. It is investment going out of India abroad. And the government wants to preserve the forex, and this is a dampener for people to transfer under LRS scheme. Say a family of 4, $1 million can be transferred every year. And if HNIs or all those who are filing returns, if they start transferring $1 million annually, you can imagine the forex can deplete very rapidly. So this is a kind of an indirect measure to prevent flight of capital from India.
Now, Dr. Jadhav, vehicle scrappage policy, one of the green initiatives. Can you brief about what are the initiatives in this budget for vehicle scrappage policy?
So one of the key things that the government has done as a push for new vehicles is the vehicle scrappage policy. One of the reason the government actually has pushed for vehicle scrappage policy is that older vehicles, especially those vehicles which are around 10 years old and all, are extremely polluting in nature, and such polluting vehicles in long term can actually impact our environment a lot. And unfortunately in India we do not have the idea of scrapping vehicles. We keep on selling vehicles in the second hand market to the third owner, to the fourth owner. My dad himself has a scooter which is almost like 30 years old, right, and still running, means however he runs. So it is important that such vehicles get scrapped, and there should be some benefit for the people to scrap it, and that's why the government has basically asked for this vehicle scrappage policy, and the focus is more on commercial vehicles. So they are very clear that after 15 years the vehicle has to be scrapped. If it is a personal vehicle, there is a provision to take greening, means you can get a green permission for up to 20 years. But after that, that also has to scrap. But commercial vehicles, they are very clear that they have to be scrapped. This is also a push to the auto sector, especially the new age hybrid vehicles, which will slowly reduce pollution and actually help the government to control the climate change issues that we are facing.
Dr. Bhatt, you are an investment consultant. What is the avenue for investment now in India so that people can maximize their income and wealth?
What is the avenue to invest in India? Probably you are spoiled for choices today. You are spoiled for choices today. You look at an interest rate scenario, your bank FDs look very attractive. Look at the stock market today, it is about to take off, and it has given you 2 years time to onboard yourself. If you are a youngster, student seated over there, instead of watching the YouTube channel, focusing on futures, option trading, I would recommend save that small portion of pocket money, your first salary, whatever it is, put it in one of the diversified mutual funds or in an index fund, and just forget it and open it when you retire, and that is going to create a huge amount of wealth. If you are looking to invest in commercial real estate today, fractional real estate is taking off in India. Mr. D.B. Mehta was telling, real estate gives you handsome return if you go to London, New York and Dubai. In India today, we are actually involved in it. Fractional real estate today is giving you 8 to 10% rental real estate.
That is REIT and InvITs.
Not REITs and InvITs, fractional real estate. We have done videos on that. It is giving you 8 to 10% extremely good rate of return for people who are looking to get plus rental escalation clauses are built into it. You don't need to physically own it. You don't need to maintain the property. You can sell it off. You have a 5% capital appreciation on the properties you own. You are spoiled for choices today. Whatever could be your mindset, if you are looking from a safe investment, go for a bank fixed deposit. If you are a person who is looking to build wealth, go towards the mutual fund, stocks, index funds, whatever you want. If you are looking for pension segment, today is the best time to lock into your lifetime interest on the pension segment. The annuity plans will reflect the interest of the day. Today we are at the peak of interest rate. If somebody wants to create a lifelong annuity, this is the best time. If you want to invest in guaranteed return insurance plan, they are paying more than the bank rate. Of course, Nirmala Sitharaman has put the limit on that. So you are spoiled for choices. Just find out where your comfort lies and you'll find an investment avenue there.
I'll just add one more investment avenue to the list you have said, and those are the InvITs in non-real estate sector. Real estate sectors are called REIT. There are InvITs. Now, there are a couple of InvITs listed on the stock market also. Now, the way we look at it is in the last 2 years, there has been a huge inflation in the commodity prices. And these InvITs basically create an infrastructure, providing service through that infrastructure, maybe a road-based InvIT or maybe a power line based InvIT, or maybe some any other infrastructure where the services are provided through the infrastructure, because the cost has gone up so much of the raw materials, to create similar infrastructure will be much more expensive and the yield required will be much more higher. So we have couple of InvITs in that segment listed on the markets. Please look at it. They are giving you 13 to 14% returns, and they are going right now begging. And these are all safe investment avenues. You can directly buy through from the market, or you can approach some fund and buy. But these are very good options available for even
Which are
the
the
small.
InvITs we can buy now?
See, there is one which is power grid InvIT, basically the what you call the power transmission lines, and their returns are around 12%. Then there is IRB InvIT, which is in the highways, and there is IndiGrid InvIT, again, which is in the power lines. These are the three listed InvITs available in the market. It will give you returns anywhere between 10 to 13%. And this is annualized returns.
And sir, just to add one more thing, both of them have missed one of the most important investment avenues, and I would suggest people to think of it, is upskilling themselves, education itself. The way technology is changing and the way skills will require in the future, people might find India has a very wrong assumption that we finish education, then start working, and we'll be able to work for life. Those days are over, right? Every 10, 15 years, things change so much that people have to come back to educate. And I would always suggest people to educate themselves either in short-term or long-term programs and be with time. Otherwise, your careers can take a stop. And if the careers stop, then investment in other avenues will also start taking a hit. So think of that.
Benjamin Franklin said, investment in education pays the best interest. In Subhashita also it is said, na chora haryam, na raja haryam, na bhratra bhajyam, na bharakari, vyaye krate vardhate nityam, vidyadanam sarvadana pradhanam. That means na chora haryam, thief cannot steal your education. Na chora haryam, na raja haryam, that means king or government cannot confiscate. Na bhratra bhajyam, you cannot divide between brothers. Na bharakari, it is not weighing much, either in pustaka or in mastaka. Vyaye krate vardhate nityam, more and more you spend, more and more it will increase, it will vardhate, it will enhance. If you spend knowledge, disseminate knowledge, it will enhance, it will never decrease. That's why Vidyadhanam Sarvadana Pradhanam, it is said. Now our Dr. Srihari Upadhyaya. Now to start startup, people are scared, and the failure rate in startup is very high. More than 90-95% there is a failure rate. Even bankers also, they scare to fund startups. In such a scenario, what is your piece of advice for the new generation entrepreneurs or those who come out of the colleges, how to circumvent this situation and proceed with this startup venturing?
It is true that we all say 95% of the startups the fail. It's an accepted the fact. But learnings what an individual get is fantastic. No match to this. And in 2016, Department of Science and Technology, they started one program, Entrepreneur in Residence. This is considered as an alternate to the placement. But if you look at the statistics today, then okay, it's almost the 6 years, then okay, hardly 600 students or graduates, then okay, got the benefit of this program. That means penetration is very, very low even today. And Indian ecosystem with respect to the startups is just started the growing. And when the ecosystem grows, there is going to be an opportunity for everyone. That means one need not worry about the failure of the startup. The system will take care. Even though they're not succeeded with the startup, their entrepreneurial, the journey will continue. Not necessary to be with respect to a startup, even though they are joining any industry or academia or any other the field, kind of experience they have obtained is fantastic. They will sail through the system then easily. That's a fantastic one. Now we got some interesting learnings, how to address this. Many a time we think that there is a lack of funding. I've got a fantastic idea. I need a funding. Funding is provided. This is how we receive the proposals. Provided the funding, I'll do the wonders. Then okay. We did some interesting research on this. And in last December, there was a lot of discussions about Infosys at the 40. I'll just highlight this example. We all know very well that how Infosys was started by 7 co-founders, and many say that it was 10,000 rupees from Sudha Murthy to Narayan Murthy. That's how the story started. In those days, it was $250. Dollar rate was the 40. But we analyzed it the further. Two important an aspect which are required to start any entity. One is what is the purpose, and the second one is what is the preparation. Then okay, these are very then essential. No doubt funding is the required. The purpose with which Narayan Murthy started, and what was his preparations. The recently, probably the last week, he was the chief guest at IIM Ahmedabad. So he gave a fantastic the learnings, and even today it is the valid one. Just to summarize, one need not worry about failures at all. Learnings will be fantastic. Have a purpose and a preparation, then okay, definitely success will be the yours.
Failure is the stepping stone for success, you mean, correct? Okay. Now, India has got fantastic startup ecosystem, fantastic banking ecosystem, as well as fantastic MSME ecosystem. In this budget, how this budget has impacted on the economy in MSME sector? Can you just brief?
Just let me tell you about one important change which has happened in income tax with respect to MSME. Now, what is they changed the definition of MSME last year itself. I would not like to get into that. But micro, small and medium. Medium has not been given a big push. Micro and small, with respect to income tax, they brought a very important change, which they said that any business enterprise...
94% of the units out of MSME are micro, and 5% are small. Only 1% is medium.
So which means they have covered 99% in a way.
Correct.
So 99% they have covered. In case a business makes a payment, has to book an expenditure towards an MSME, they have to pay it within the due date. What is the due date? As agreed, which shall not be more than 45 days. If there is no agreement, then it has to be paid within 15 days. Now, if this payment is not done within the year, in fact, they have not restricted it to 45 days, 15 days, but they said if in financial year 22-23, if the payment is done next year, that expenditure will not be allowed for income tax purpose. So that's the greatest benefit which is made available through the Income Tax Act for the MSMEs. So to claim an expenditure as a deduction, it should be paid for rather than just accrued. So that's one change for MSMEs. The second interesting thing for income tax is they said that there is something called a presumptive tax. You don't have to maintain books of accounts. You don't have to go to a chartered accountant for getting your books of accounts audited. They said that if your income is up to 2 crores and up to 50 lakhs as a professional, you don't have to get your books of accounts prepared or audited. That was already there. What this budget did was, up to 3 crores in the business, if your turnover is up to 3 crores, you don't have to go maintain books of accounts and go to a chartered accountant, if and only if your collections to the extent of 95% is in permitted modes. That means not more than 5% of your collections are in cash, then you don't have to prepare, have books of accounts. Similarly, for a specified professional from 50 lakhs to 75 lakhs, you don't have to maintain books of accounts. So this is a second change. The third important change from the banking perspective is they have brought in a special CGTMSE fund. You know, CGTMSE fund, to the extent of 9,000 crores, a fund is enhanced during this year, which will be used for giving loans to CGTMSE. As you know, Mr. Nayak, all these years up to 2 crores of CGTMSE. What is CGTMSE? It is a collateral-free loan based on the guarantee given by the government. The CGTMSE trust gives the guarantee to the banks to fund MSEs up to 2 crores without collateral. Now this has got enhanced from this budget from 2 crores to 5 crores. So these are the 3 important changes that I could see, apart from, of course, moving the tax rate for the micro small earners to 7 lakhs. One very interesting thing I also forgot to tell you is TDS. When those of you who are under the salaried employees, TDS by default from 1st of April will be under the new tax regime. Circular came very recently. If you want to claim old tax regime by getting the deductions and exemptions, you will have to opt for by telling it to your employer that you are opting for. Otherwise, the employer has to deduct TDS also under the new regime by default. These are the 4 things that I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent rendition. In MSMEs, I would like to add further. There is a hybrid securities scheme also there. If you cannot cover under CGTMSE fully, if the loan amount is much more than the CGTMSE coverage, then you can cover under hybrid security mode. Hybrid means you can have partial under collateral security, partially under CGTMSE mode. In such case, CGTMSE premium you have to pay only on the cover to the extent which is not covered by the collateral. And for startups, up to 10 crores, there is a guarantee under National Credit Guarantee Trust Limited, NCGTL. So up to 10 crore, they can give loan without any collateral security to the units. Whether bankers are giving or not, practically that is a different issue, because bankers love collateral more than that of CGTMSE schemes. That is a practical situation which is prevailing everywhere. That's okay. Now I think discussion, even though there are a lot of topics to be discussed, now we are stopping the discussion now. Now it is time of our audience. You can shoot any questions. Please, organizers, please have 2 hands mic, and you can give one by one, and you can ask questions. And please ask only questions which are relevant for the today's topic, economy as well as budget. And if any personal things are there, better to avoid. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is KB Shanai. I am from Manipal. We had a nice session about the budget 23-24. But I think you have missed out in stating something on housing, which is also an important segment of union budget. Can you please have some light on that?
We have in our house expert panelist CADB Mehta is a real estate tycoon. There are no much announcements in this budget, but still, can you just brief on housing sector?
See, I'll break up housing into 2 different segments. One is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, that is the housing for the poor. Even this year, the allocation is close to 80,000 crores. And as far as I remember, it's 80,000, maybe plus minus here and there. Okay. Now, coming to the general housing segment, there is no scheme in this budget which can... Yeah, so 80,000 crores. There is no scheme in this budget which will help the middle class families to buy the apartments. Like earlier, there was a CLSS scheme, that is credit link subsidy scheme, where if you were buying an apartment in either the low income or mid income or high income, you were getting anywhere around 2.5 lakhs interest rebate. Now that has been done away with for the last 2 years. It's not been reintroduced. There is, interest rates have gone up, which is a burden on the home buyer, in fact. Borrowing at 9% housing loan is not one of the easiest thing. And for HNI, basically applicable to large cities like Mumbai or Delhi, if you have capital gains from sale of a house for more than 10 crores, the automatic response would be to buy one more house and don't pay tax. Now that has been restricted to only 10 crores. So if you look at big cities like say Delhi, a house in defense colony would go for anywhere between 30 crores to 100 crores, and which would have been bought at some 10 lakhs or 5 lakhs 40 years back. So they were selling these homes and buying new homes. Now that has been restricted to only 10 crores. So they will have to pay some income tax. Others for the mid-income scheme, sorry to say, even as a builder, I was looking forward to some schemes in the budget, but nothing has been announced in particular.
So real estate sector is the highest employment generation sector, but that has not been given any impetus in this budget.
No, absolutely
Even
not.
interest rates are also increasing.
We had a few demands from the government, like rationalizing the GST issues for the real estate sector. That has also not happened. We had some demands from the state government to give the benefits of lower stamp duty. That has also not happened. So
Stamp duty in Karnataka is very less when compared to many states.
I would not agree to that because, say like if you are in Bombay,
Tamil Nadu and all very high.
in Bombay, anything which is below 80 square meters or 90 square meters and below 1 crore, even today the stamp duty is 3%. Whereas in Karnataka, 3% you have to buy something below 30 lakhs if I am not wrong.
Please introduce yourself and ask the question.
I am Rajesh Rao, retired banker. 2-3 questions. The miracle has happened in the last 8 years, so everyone agrees. The whole world agrees with it. That is only because of one person, one leader called Modi ji. You are targeting a 35 trillion dollar economy, or 30 to 35 trillion by 2047. But Modi ji's term is going to end shortly. Do we have a robust political system in India, a consistent political system which can have such long-term policies? This is one question. Second one, we have a debt. We have a union debt of 160 lakh crores, state debt of 90 lakh crores, and external debt of 50 lakh crores, totally around 300 lakh crores, against GDP, as you said, of 300 lakh crores, 100% almost. And the outgo towards interest on these loans is 20%. Some of the states it is around 40%. So how far can we go on spending like this? Is it good for the economy, or is there any negative aspect on public debt of the nation? The third one is about freebies and unemployment. It may be not. How can you tackle this freebies issue and the unemployment issue? Every year 1 crore people are adding to the employment this thing. What is the solution for this?
Dr. Jadhav, first one you can answer. That is regarding 30 trillion economy.
Okay,
Right.
so
How that robust political system is required, how it is.
yes, certainly in the last 8 years we had a very...
Modi's term, even if it is elected next time, only next 2 years.
Yeah.
Afterwards who will come?
No.
Can anybody say after Modi who will come?
Okay. So we had a very charismatic leader, and who is basically, but a very famous leader, Abraham Lincoln once said that a good leader creates a system for a time when he is not there, and not for the time when he is there, because when he is present, you don't need. Okay. So what we are observing now over the last 8 years, and we will see in the next few years, is a system that gets created which will allow us to continue on that path over the next 10 to 15 years. And that is what we are seeing. So for example, the investment in infrastructure. Okay, the US and Australia did an investment in infrastructure in 1950s and benefited out of it in by 1980s. Japan did an extensive investment in infrastructure in 80s and became a world economy. China started competing with US in 1990s, okay, investing in infrastructure, and today they are in one of the world leaders. So I am sure that what ecosystem or whatever the facilities are being created today will ensure that the path will continue irrespective of the decision of our Prime Minister. The second question you asked was...
Debt.
What is the
CA Mehta regarding
Okay.
debt,
So
debt
just a
300
small
lakh,
thing,
100%.
I will give you a small example. Debt is not bad, okay? 70% of our students who do MBA basically don't have any net worth, but take an education loan to study. But it is not where the money is being utilized is important. If debt is being taken to create capital infrastructure, which are going to be the next push, then it is always a good thing. There is nothing wrong in it. If debt is being used for consumption, that is you are spending it in pensions or you are spending it on interest, certainly that's a tension. But you know, if it is invested in infrastructure, that will create a growth cycle, and that growth multiplier is what will ensure that we will not be in a problem in the next period.
See, I'll give you some assurance from some figures out of the budget itself. When the COVID came in, the subsidy given was 7 lakh crores. The next year, means the current budget, it has predicted a subsidy of only some 3.5 lakh crores. So already we have cut down on 3.5 lakh crores in subsidy. Because what happens is in a system, when you give something free, it is very difficult to take it back. This government was giving 10 kgs rice per person free, and it has reduced to half. And that decision has been criticized by the opposition parties, but that is what you say, you risk your political capital by doing the right economics. You know, political subsidy is the only political economy. But political capital, when you put at stake, you generate infrastructure, you generate capital for the country. Coming to your question for, whether the debt is too much, whether are we in a debt trap, there are norms for developing countries and developed countries. When you look at the government debt alone, the norms are very simple. If the government debts for a developing economy is more than 80% of DGP, you are getting into a riskier zone, closer towards a debt trap. Including the state debt and the central debt and the external debt, we are at 84% right now of the GDP. We are slightly above the comfortable zone. If we cross 100%, definitely we will be not in a comfortable zone, because we are still in a category of developing economies. Whereas for a developed economy, the debt trap starts after 125%. So USA will be having more than 125, Japan will be having more than 125. So we have to understand at what stage the debt trap starts. We are just a little above, still safer.
We can see now foreign debt to GDP ratio. What happened that screen? Foreign debt to GDP ratio, you can see United States, our Doddanna of entire globe, it has got 128% debt to GDP. China 85%, definitely they are good. Then Japan 221.32% debt to GDP ratio. And Germany, so-called developed economy, 150%. UK, they, our good some brothers of our country, they went and gave a lecture in the Parliament of UK regarding our country also. Okay. Now 317% debt to GDP, UK. They are in deep trouble. But India, only 83%. That's why I told East or West, India is West. So it is only 83%. Even in this debt, for what purpose we are utilizing the debt, as you already mentioned, infra push. See, 111 crores, Gati Shakti, our plan, 5-year plan, Gati Shakti, 111 crores. See, multi-model logistics we are planning. China and India, when compared to competitiveness in export, logistic cost in China is 7 to 8%. In India, it is nearly 12 to 13%. We should bring down this logistic cost. Then only we will be competitive for export. Recently that foreign trade policy has also been announced. I think that will also pave the way for development. Even export through courier, 5 lakhs per unit they have enhanced to 10 lakhs per this. Lot of initiative they are taking, because otherwise it is very difficult, because our forex, that is CAD, and our forex reserve is also matter of concern. Our CA Mehta, you can talk about forex and CAD.
See, CAD has been a matter of concern for this year primarily because of the huge uptick in commodity prices due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Just the import of crude oil and the import of coal and coal-related products, despite taking into account the $40-50 billion we have saved from buying crude out of Russia, we have still spent $70 billion more this year in importing crude compared to the last year. Possibly out of this $70 billion, $15-20 billion will be due to increase in demand. Balance $50 billion we have spent primarily because of the increase in prices. So current account deficit is a play of commodity prices globally. When it goes up, we are in trouble. But we have slight concern even in exports. If you see the merchandise exports in the last 6 months, month after month, it is lower than the merchandise exports in the previous year's similar 6 months. Even though we have achieved close to $440 billion of merchandise exports, which is 6% higher than the last year, but the last 6 months figures are clearly giving us a signal that the global economy is slowing down and it is impacting our exports. Why we are still safe with our current account deficit? Because of the services exports. Not many are paying attention to the non-IT services. IT services is only $150 billion exports. Total services exports in the current year crossed $330 billion. So $180 billion of exports is non-IT services. And services export has been growing at 25% annualized over the last 3 years. So total combined exports in the last year was $770 billion, which was the highest ever reached. We have a concern on current account deficit, which should be sorted out in this current year, because the commodity prices have started softening, and our service exports will be taking further leap into this. And from the 2.4% current account deficit for the previous year, it is expected to be close to 1.8%.
Excellent.
Good evening. I'm Murli Deshanai, Mangalore Zonal Head of Canara Robeco Mutual Fund. Before I ask a couple of questions, I would like to congratulate and thank the entire panel for throwing lights on the budgetary announcements. It has been a very informative session. Thanks for the deliberations. So the first question, it's not a question, it's a clarification from Mr. Acharya. You mentioned about TDS being deducted at 20%. TCS collection, yeah, on the foreign package, that tour packages. So is it refundable if we just claim it? Is it refundable?
Yes.
TCS, TDS is nothing but advance income tax. Once you pay that, it is, if you are liable to pay tax, it can be adjusted against advance tax.
Yes.
If it is not there, then you can get interest, refund along with the interest. Correct? No?
Along with interest from 1st of April, not from the date of collection, unfortunately.
Okay.
It is only that to avoid evasion of tax. It is check and balance. Once you pay, even for example, if you buy a vehicle, recently you bought vehicle about 10 lakhs, they have made TCS. While filing the return, in your 26 AS it will appear. So when you file the return, whatever your TDS on salary and TCS, whatever deducted, that should
Can be adjusted.
deducted. That's all.
Okay, my second question is it's off the subject. India is credited for being a country which is having a very comfortable foreign exchange resource at about $578 billion currently. Why can't the government think of making use of a percentage of these reserves for the infrastructure purposes? Can be there a provision for that, for the government or Reserve Bank of India in touching these reserves?
See, this forex resource, I think it is enough for importing only 10 months requirement of our nation. If they exhaust this, it will be very dangerous situation. I think you can throw light.
See, to do this, government will need to amend the RBI Act, allowing the RBI to divert the reserves for either internal investments or even to set up a sovereign fund and invest internationally. So you must have heard a lot of countries have sovereign funds and they are investing into Indian equity or into Indian FDI. We have not set up a sovereign fund and we are not investing anywhere. Now, if you look at the forex of $572 billion, almost around $400 billion is in government treasury of different countries, out of which $360 billion is in the US treasuries. $40 billion is in gold reserves. Balance is in, India has lent to different other countries and those recoveries are there. Now, why the forex dropped so drastically? It was not because of the flight of capital, which was only accounting for around $30 to $35 billion. You must be knowing that we reached a peak of $642 billion and we crashed to $525 billion reserves. And now we are come up to $570 billion. It was primarily because of the devaluation of the treasury investment. Because of the inflation, the rate of interest went up. When the rate of interest goes up, the yield on your treasury goes up and the value of treasury comes down. So in our system, we have all mark-to-market accounting. Like even if the bank is holding some government securities, it's always mark-to-market. Only recently some options have been given to the banks to invest in mark-to-maturity. So RBI also accounts it at mark-to-market on a weekly basis. So till the time the rate of interest globally does not go down, the treasury valuation will not go up. So government is still in that zone of being worried that what happens if the yield falls, the valuation falls further, then what happens? So forex reserves will still be a concern and government will not be liberal with forex reserves.
And when you expect rupee becoming a global currency?
Mr. Chennai, first I'll come back to the forex issue. You are from the mutual fund industry. Forex is like your emergency fund in a personal finance, right? So you maintain a emergency fund. So you can't use the emergency fund to go and buy a house or something like that. You have to maintain it in a liquid form. You maintain forex to make sure that you have the money to buy what you really need. So the governments will continue to maintain them, maybe increase, only in situation where you are having excess of forex which you don't want. Probably that's the time you probably use it for creating an infrastructure kind of a thing. And infrastructure is not a spending, it's an asset. It's an economic asset and it brings you the revenue to the government. You do the roads, sports, whatever it is. So it brings a revenue to it. So it's not something that has to be funded from foreign forex itself. What's your second question? You said?
That when you expect this rupee becoming a global currency?
We do not have an answer for that, but I'll tell you one thing. We are in the right track in that.
One thing I would like to say, now only 18 countries they are traded in
18.
rupees.
There is
in order to become rupee as a prime currency, minimum 50 countries should participate. Correct, no?
It's a matter of time.
But more than it becoming an international currency, I look for a day where de-dollarization of the trade gains further momentum and trade happens in the Indian rupee. It has multiple benefits. One, you don't need dollar to buy something. And we are in arrangement with Russia, UAE, Saudi, all these countries. Now you have an issue that we are importing more. That means they are accumulating rupees. What happens to the rupee? These countries will obviously ask, what shall I do with the rupee? I'm not buying something. Now, what are they doing with the dollars now? The dollars are going and getting parked in the US treasuries. What if those countries park that money in the form of Indian treasuries or into the Indian, invest in India? That solves a lot of problem of your capital requirement. So the de-dollarization of trade is more important. Whether it gets included in the IMF basket or not is not something which has a material difference for us. That's what I feel. Obviously, it is going to happen. 73 countries have evinced interest. 18 countries have already signed into it. So it's a work in progress. I'm very sure it has gained momentum. It's just a matter of time it will happen. When it will happen, I do not know. And one question, Mr. Rajesh Rao, you asked, what after Mr. Modi ji? One clear thing which is... I'll tell you one aspect which we have to observe here is, we are moving from a relationship-based economy to a rule-based economy. Mr. Modi ji, more than being a prime minister, appears like the CEO of the country. He has identified the right persons and given them the right responsibility. They have consciously developed the second line, third line leaders. They have consciously tried to identify the younger generation, and they have tried to diversify the leadership into different things. And it's just not within the ruling party. They have also imported leaders from other parties. You see right now with Hemant Kumar Sharma in Assam, what a fantastic work which is being done there.
I think better we can give chance to others.
Yeah.
Now time is
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? Audience, yes.
Hello. So my name is Sridhar. I've been serving MSME for last 12 years. So I have one question because most of the questions have been answered. One, is there any benefit or schemes on protection against delayed payments in this budget?
That has already been told now. As per this MSMED Act 2006, recently it has been amended also.
No. MSMED Act has been amended. That's a different question. As far as income tax is concerned, the payments to MSMED, micro and small enterprises, will be allowed only in the year in which the payment happens. So therefore, if you delay the payment, you will have to pay taxes first.
Statutory payment up to due date of the filing is there, but here it is also not there.
Up to 31st March. Provided the due date under MSMEDI is available, then next year,
that is 15 days
or
if
45
there is
days.
no agreement. If there is agreement, 45 days. Even the agreement is more, it is restricted to 45 days.
Perfect.
That is as per the MSMED Act.
So last
they
question.
need to make payment. Even public procurement policy, PPP, also, MSMEs have been given preference. Around 25% of the public sector procurement should be done from MSMEs only. So that is the thing.
One important point to be noted is, this is also applicable to MSMEs. Unfortunately, MSMEs, if they don't pay to their MSME suppliers, even for them there will be a disallowance. This will be a Ramabana reverse.
So last and quick questions on technology adoption. Is there any subsidy or benefits on MSME?
Technology adoption?
Any subsidy or benefits?
For technology adoption. For upgrading, if your production enhances, if the capacity utilization enhances, it is deemed to be expansion as per state policy. It is coming under state policy, industrial policy. There is a subsidy based on your zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 criteria. You can see Karnataka State Industrial Policy 2025. As per that, if there is expansion, other than negative list industries and services, all other things are eligible for state investment subsidy based on zone 2, zone 3 and zone 1. Normally that zone 3, that is Bangalore urban, there is no any subsidies. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next there. Okay, back side. One minute. One minute, he will.
Sir, one short and quick question, sir. Okay. Sir, one clarification regarding the debt to GDP ratio, sir. So, the debt what we calculate or quantify, is it only the debt of the union government? Because the state governments have their own respective debts, and some of the state governments are really high and extravagant on debts. So, that debt, sir, is it accounting only the union government debt or the state government debts?
See,
also?
the figures you see on the screen, they are both the union and the state government debts. Whereas the debt can be at the next level, and that is the corporate debts. Then one more level, the individual debts. So I have given you figures in my previous discussion. What is the total debt of different countries, in what percentages? Like Japan, all debts put together is more than 450%. Here it is only 221%. India, all the debts put together is 170%. Here it is 85%. Because the government is accountable for what it borrows. Government is not accountable for what companies borrow or you and I borrow. So that's why these figures will be shown only of the state and the central government.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I am Govardhan Shetty, managing partner of Sri Ganesh Tile Works Mangalore, a businessman for the past 4 decades. First of all, let me congratulate for the nice panel which we have highlighted on the union budget. Now, my main question is regarding being a manufacturer of clay, roofing tiles and bricks. As you suggested in the panel, our country is basically concentrating on the green revolution and the eco-friendly products. Now, clay, as I presume, is an eco-friendly product. Any product manufactured from clay. Now, since last year, we had a problem with the government wherein the clay, the GST was only 5%. But since last 1st April, they have jumped from 5% to 12% GST. Now, since the clay roofing tiles is being the main, is in the rural areas, wherein the poor people there try to take this product. And taxing them on 12% is really huge. And since we are also eco-friendly, and for wire cut bricks, again, there's a confusion in the GST, wherein in the HSN code, they have mentioned it as building materials. Nowhere in that they have mentioned clay building materials. That's where there's a confusion even with the accountants here, whereas they are not getting the proper highlight from the GST department as to under which HSN code we are supposed to give. Now, my HSN code is 6904, which is 6% for a composite tax and 12% for ITC. Now, this is even though our industry has taken it through the association, but nowhere the government has clarified it or given this thing for this. This is my sincere, this is because I don't know how it can be impacted with the government. This is how my question for all the MSME, small micro unit business people. One. There's a second question.
One thing that GST, your issue, it is very rightly your question, because normally it is outside the purview of the budget, because GST Council is taking up these issues. Second thing is, whenever you have this type of doubt, there is authority for advance ruling in every state. What you need to do is, you should apply with your specific case, authority for advance ruling through your chartered accountant.
That has been already applied through the association.
No.
So the association is applied, but since last year I'm not talking this year. Since last year.
What they have given mandate?
Nothing, they're just keeping mum on that. No,
then you can move it to the...
No, I would also suggest that you should make a representation from your association strongly and meet the, maybe the finance minister of your state first and ask them to represent.
We have represented, sir, but unfortunately no reply from there.
No, I
anyway,
think...
Anyway, if this panel cannot answer that, was fine.
No, we can answer. This is the answer. Because whenever this type of anomaly is there, only GST Council has to clear it.
GST again coming under union, sir.
No, no.
50,
No.
Union budget, GST might be a separate entity in its own.
GST rates, that is comes under GST Council.
Okay.
So, Union Finance Minister is the chairperson and all the states, they are participating in the council. And council's decision is final. It is not the budget.
Then I have to meet my CA who's CSS Naik only. So, thanks a lot.
But you can apply for authority of advance ruling. But there is a time bearing. They cannot keep it pending for years together. Authority for advance ruling. I don't agree with your views.
Okay, then I'll come back to you and let's see what
you can apply under authority for advance ruling. Definitely that clarity will come.
Fine, thank you.
Also, I would like to add, just like when we are talking about green and we have ESG, I was telling, banks are now collecting deposits from the stakeholders called as ESG deposits, for which they will give lesser interest. When people, why will they give? Because the banks will use that money for giving to environmental friendly industries. So the tile making could be one of them. That's what I just wanted to add.
Good evening, sir. I am Aryan Ganesh Bello. I'm studying in 8th standard. So my question is, according to vehicle scrappage policy, the commercial vehicles have to be scrapped in a time period of 15 years. So, according to my information, it has been currently implemented in government vehicles and Delhi NCR area. But by the time it's implemented all around India, many commercial vehicles would have breached that mark. So, it would impact the commercial sector and be a problem for, even the economy and the GDP. So, how does the government plan to counter this problem?
Can I have your name?
Aryan.
So Aryan, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you for asking a question at this age. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
I'm really impressed. Okay. And you have rightly pointed out, the government has just started this initiative. If you see, there are a lot of places where Gadkari ji himself is continuously pushing for all the governments to adopt this policy. The biggest impact of this policy change will be on the climate more than anything else, because we want to slow down the climate change that is happening. So once and as soon as possible, I think the government is going to push it as soon as possible, and it might actually be accepted within a year or two across all the states. Formal policy will come in where the commercial vehicles especially have to be scrapped in 15 years. There is a reason why commercial vehicles are the focus. If you look at it on an average, a personal vehicle is driven for around 1,000 kilometers in a month. A commercial vehicle gets driven anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers in a month. So if you see, the usage of a commercial vehicle and a breakdown of a commercial vehicle is much faster. And hence the focus is on commercial vehicle. And I would also request you, you have asked a very interesting question, to either tweet it or put it up somewhere to Gadkari ji and ask him to actually speed it up. I'm telling you, he responds. And it will be a very good experience for you as well. And congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you, sir. A 13-year boy asking on a 15-year scrapping policy. That's something very great.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. Umesh Pai from Udupi. First of all, I congratulate TAPME for organizing this fantastic intellectual program, panel discussion. And I got a golden opportunity to interact with all the intellectuals here. I have been seeing these intellectuals in Business Tonics, but today is my golden day. I can see you people in a smaller distance. So I congratulate all the intellectual panel persons. I had a lot of questions while coming, but all questions are answered by you. So I had a lot of doubts in the old regime and new regime. So all are cleared very clear. It is like a good teacher taking a class without any doubts. Students are not having any doubts if the teaching is excellent. So I say that today's presentation is excellent. I have never seen this type of panel discussion so far. So I congratulate again all the panel members. And my second general question, it is not relating to union budget or Indian economy as such. Our younger people will go for higher education to abroad. Instead of studying in our TAPME, this is one of the best institution of the world. Nobody knows, or I don't know, why the people are going to abroad, to US or UK, rather than studying their higher education in Manipal, hub of education hub. Thank you.
Because all don't get seat in TAPME.
So,
I think recently they have done interview.
Merited students will definitely get, but they don't want to study in India. That's what I am saying.
Sir, there is no problem if students go abroad to study, as long as they come back to the country to serve it. It's a very good thing, something that China has ensured, and that's the reason. So Chinese government ensured that students actually went abroad to study and came back and brought in new ideas, new technology, especially not in political sphere, but at least in the technological sphere, which has helped China grow. What we need to make India is attractive for those who have gone abroad to come back and work here, set up businesses and everything, and become big. That's what we should focus on.
Yes, my concern is in India, a lot of good, excellent institutions are there like TAPME. So they can study here and they can serve here now. Instead of going to abroad, once they studied in abroad, they won't come back to India.
So the issue is of not coming back to India.
They can study in TAPME and tap in India only. They should not tap abroad.
Yeah.
Also, I'm told that TAPME has got students from 40 different countries.
Yes.
I think that should be showcased so that our Indians can.
It is reverse engineering now. Okay, now I think now it is time to wind up. If you have any questions, audience, last question, we will give the chance.
I'm sorry, sir, just one last question to Chandrakant sir specifically. But before that, I'd like to thank all of you all because for someone of my age who's just like getting into their career, I'm really interested in economics, politics, and all of those subjects. And I got to learn a lot from all of you all, so thank you for that. So, Chandrakant sir, it's a very investment-specific question. So, for someone who is a teenager or just getting into their 20s, they are more enticed by high return investments like equity and, like you said, options and day trading and all of that. So, I've heard of the 100 minus age rule, but how relevant is that to someone of my age? And would you really recommend someone getting to their 20s to invest in bonds instead of an SIP in, say, equities?
If you are a young person, I presume, the right investment that you have to make is in the skill sets, in the education. No other thing can give you as much return as the skill set that you get into. Even on my channel, I produced a video, which is the best investment as somebody who is in 20s and 30s can make is upskill yourself. And there is no expiry date. If you are 35, 40, 45, at every stage, upskill yourself. That brings you the highest return. Whether it is bond, equity, it doesn't matter. The simple rule to follow is, if you have time in your life, use equity. If you don't have time in your life, use the fixed income. And you can always strike a balance between how much of fixed income and how much of an equity, depending on the time that you have, depending on the mental orientation that you have, and the purpose for which you are looking at. If you are building an emergency fund, there's no point in putting that money into equity. You have to use some fixed income. It could be a bond, it could be a fixed deposit, it could be a debt fund, anything is fine. But if you are looking from a retirement perspective, you are 25 years old, and don't invest in equity, that could be the biggest mistake. But don't trade. Investing in equity and trading are two different things. Don't get carried away by futures, options, trading, buying, selling. No. Be the inert investor. Buy something, a diversified fund or an index fund or a good quality stock, and just forget it and open it when you retire. I call that as Bhagwan Ka Hundi. In my practice, I tell people, your retirement corpus, long-term investment is like Bhagwan Ka Hundi. We never dipped our hands into the Bhagwan Ka Hundi.
Now it is time to wind up. Close.
So you put it and you open it when that day comes. That's the way to follow it.
Okay, thank you. If you have any question during the dinner time, you can interact with our experts. Now it is time to wind up. Before I wind up, small one notation regarding our budget, covering almost all the points. Amrit calls budget first. 5.9% is the fiscal deficit. Green push is the thrust. Agri accelerator tonic is the boost. Reaching the last mile is the target. Growth oriented booster dose budget. Digital touch connect. We have not covered now. Tax relief bonanza is the hit. Incentives for export. Logistics cost reduction is must. Then reduction in agri credit cost. 10 lakh crore infra boost. Atmanirbhar tourism crust. Announcements for MSMEs thirst. Allocation for defense the most. Education sector more invest. Declared as International Year of Millet. East or West? India is? East or West? India is? West. Thank you. I thank all the resource persons for sharing their abundant knowledge without any pettiness with our viewers. And it is time to just wind up. Before that, vote of thanks. Dr. Krishna Prasad.
Thank you to all the panelists for sharing your expertise and knowledge. I request Dr. Krishna Prasad, Associate Dean Admin TAPME, to propose the vote of thanks. Yeah. Just before that, audience, how was the PowerPoint presentation presented to you today?
How was the PPT, today's slides? Did you like today's slides? Yes. Then shall we honor the person who has prepared the slides? Yes. Here is the hero now, Royden Menezes, who has prepared these slides. He has toiled hard. Definitely we should honor him on this evening. Royden Menezes, you are here to be honored.
Yes. So this wonderful PPT was prepared by Royden Menezes. He's a CA final student and pursuing his articleship with
Let us give a big round of applause to Royden Menezes for making these slides excellent. Please.
I request Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav, sir, the Dean TAPME Bangalore, and the other dignitaries to present this memento as a token of our gratitude and appreciation to Royden Menezes. Congratulations, and may you have a bright future ahead. Over to Dr. Krishna Prasad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on this auspicious event. This evening we had the fortune of listening to the experts on union budget from different perspectives and lens. As we start the vote of thanks, we express our gratitude to the chief guest of today's function, Sri Mahabaleshwara, MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank, for his presence and inspiring address. A big thank you to Dr. H.S. Ballal, Pro-Chancellor, MAHE, Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh, Vice Chancellor MAHE, the Pro-Vice Chancellors, the Registrar MAHE for their continuous guidance and support. We would like to extend our gratitude to Professor Madhuvira Raghavan, Pro-Vice Chancellor MAHE Bengaluru and Director of TAPME Manipal for being the leading light and inspirational leader to all of us. We thank the panelists of today's event, CA Gurraj Acharya, CA D.B. Mehta, Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, Dr. Srihari Upadhyaya, and Dr. Aditya Mohan Jadhav for your excellent insights about the union budget. Thank you all. I place on record my sincere gratitude to CA S.S. Naik for conceptualizing and moderating the event. Sir, without your support and guidance, we would not have been able to pull off such an event in such a short time. Thank you. Our sincere thanks are due to Sri Lilaksha Karkera and Sri Navneet Shetty and entire team of Nammakudla for choosing TAPME for hosting this event. Thank you very much, sir. We thank our learned audience from various walks of life and various institutions for making it convenient to attend the event. Thank you all for your gracious presence. Our heartfelt thanks to the TAPME and MAHE faculty members, officials, administrative staff of various departments for your excellent support. I also thank CA Yashaswini Amin for anchoring this event. We thank the students of the constituent units of MAHE for being the part of the event today. A special word of appreciation goes to our friends and supporters from media. We appreciate your proactive reporting and placing TAPME on national and global map. Thank you all. Good evening and good night.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna Prasad. It was indeed very helpful and supportive for coordinating this entire event. I request the dignitaries to kindly, and also Srinidhi sir, for coordinating this entire event, without whose support and help we wouldn't be able to, put up this entire program of Budget Town Hall. Thank you to the entire team of TAPME and Nammakudla once again. And thank you to all the panelists for sharing your knowledge and expertise. Dear audience, thank you for shooting all the questions. So we are going to wind up the session for today. The counters are open for dinner. Just as we had food for thought, it's time to feed our stomachs with a good and sumptuous dinner. Thank you once again. Good night, everyone. This is C.A. Yashashwani signing off.
ರೀ, ಏನ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಸಾಧನೆಯ ದಾರಿಯನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡೆ.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದಾನೇ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಿತ್ತು.
ಹೌದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ನೆರವು ನನಗೆ ದೊರಕಿದ್ದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ MSME ಲೋನ್ನಿಂದ. ಇವತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಸಾಧನೆ ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಅದು ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನಿಂದ.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ.
ತಲೆಕೂದಲು ಉದುರುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಕಾರಣಗಳಿವೆ. ಆಹಾರ ಸೇವನೆ ರೀತಿಗಳು, ಆಹಾರ ಪೌಷ್ಟಿಕ ಕೊರತೆಗಳು, ಆನುವಂಶಿಕ ಮೊದಲಾದ ಕಾರಣಗಳಿವೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಕೂದಲು ಉದುರುವುದು ಬಿಡುವುದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲೇ ಸರಿಪಡಿಸಬೇಕು. ಕೂದಲು ಬೆಳೆಯಲು ಸಹಾಯಕವಾದ ಖನಿಜಾಂಶಗಳು, ಧಾತುಗಳು ಸೇರಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ಜೀವಾಮೃತಂ. ಕೂದಲು ಉದುರುವುದು ತಡೆಯಲು ಮತ್ತು ಕೂದಲು ಸಮೃದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯಲು ನಾನು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ ಜೀವಾಮೃತ. ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ 21 ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಕಾಣುತ್ತದೆ. ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರವಾದ ಮತ್ತು ಬಲವಾದ ಕೂದಲಿಗೆ ಸೇವಿಸಿ ಜೀವಾಮೃತ.
ಜೀವಾಮೃತಂ, ದಿ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದಿಕ್ ವೇ ಫಾರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಹೇರ್ ಕೇರ್.
ಈ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾವ ಕೆಲ್ಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಮ್ಮ?
ತಮ್ಮನ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟೋದು, ನನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ 15H 15G ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೂತ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ನಿನ್ನೆ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಅಂಗಡಿಯವರಿಗೆ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ತರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಚಿಲ್ಲರೆ ಕಾಸು ಕೂಡ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಅಯ್ಯೋಮ್ಮ, ಅಷ್ಟೇನಾ ನಿನ್ ಕೆಲ್ಸ? ಈಗ ನೋಡು, ಈ KBL ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಲ್ಸಗಳನ್ನ ಮನೆಯಿಂದಲೇ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗ್ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ನೀಡುತ್ತಿಲ್ಲವೇ? ಹಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಬದಲಿಸಿ. ಪೇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಪೇಂಟನ್ನ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತವಿದೆ ಅಪೋಲೋ ವಂಡರ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ PU+, ಭಾರತದ ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮ ಪ್ರೈಮರ್ಲೆಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಎಮಲ್ಷನ್. ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಉಳಿತಾಯ, ಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಫಿನಿಶಿಂಗ್. ಅಪೋಲೋ ಪೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ನಾಳಿನ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನು ಇಂದೇ ಮನೆಗೆ ತನ್ನಿ. ಅಪೋಲೋ ಪೇಂಟ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಲವ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್.